25 years of Vampire the Masquerade presents The Phoenix Crusade. Hey folks, Brennan here. Thanks for tuning in to our 25 years of Vampire the Masquerade podcast. If you want to reach out or follow us, we're on Facebook and YouTube as 25 years of Vampire the Masquerade, Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch as 25 years of VTM, and on our website at 25yearsofvtm.com. Support us on Patreon at patreon.com/25 years of Vampire the Masquerade. Thanks for listening and enjoy the show. And we are ready. That means we're live. You. Can't. Hold on. Yeah, that's why I said hold on. And well, it's probably because it's not device bracket 00000. Hold on. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Can y'all hear him now?
Can you hear me now?
It was like a 5-second delay, so it's going to take anyone 5 seconds to hear me request if they hear him. I'm pretty sure they hear me.
I don't know if they hear me. I'm assuming that's that.
All right, waiting.
If you
Actually-
leave me now.
Because you're showing up on the output capture.
Take away the biggest part of me. Ooh, baby, please don't go. I'm not going to attempt that high note. Don't wait for me.
Hold on, I'm going to...
Careful. Y'all are so good, you're going to get yourselves copyright strike.
Still nothing.
I was the third brother of 5. Ooh. Come on, Mike. I know you can do that.
That's unfortunate.
Where's the Womack? All I had to do to survive. Yeah. Bobby. Across 110th Street. Thank you. Just in case, might be redundant for some folks, but we'll help you guys get some traction. We had the group was departing to go do various things, and Ramsey and Rott were going to head out to Gurney Mills to investigate a Nictacu, as they were skeptically I want to add Ramsey is more or less, as I picture him, is like, yeah, sure, we'll go check this out. As Rot's getting into the car, they're about, because Gurney Mills Mall, they were there before. It's the place, just a refresher, where Ramsey had to save Rot from getting his ass beat by a security guard.
Uh-huh.
That's what would happen. So apparently now there's an even bigger threat that the clan Nosferatu has ever seen is now under the mall, and they got to go handle it somehow, narrowly avoiding it the first time. This time it must be funnel cakes and whatever else is at Gurney Mall, the real threat. But I digress. It is Warren who heads outside with them to speak to Ramsey before they leave.
Yeah. I kind of just saunter up in my Warren kind of way. I'll say, hey Ramsey, man, I'm sure you realize the same way I do. This could go real bad, right? For you and me and Rod especially, but all of us in general.
Yes, this can go very bad. Coming to Chicago could have been very bad. Going to, you see what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, no shit. What I'm saying is, how you feel about skipping town?
If there's no other way out, then that's what we do. But that's not. Why? Is that what you want to do now?
Well, no. The reason I bring it up is because these fellas we're with, they've bled with us and they've pulled us out of some fires, so to speak. I'm just not sure they would leave.
Warren, if you and I were going to leave, we would have left with the surrogate and Tom.
All right, but at the time, nobody was actively trying to kill us except for the surrogate and Tom.
There was always that threat they were going to kill us if we didn't do what they told us to. That's the same thing now.
Right, but now they're trying to rope some of their own, right, in with us and hang us up by our own petard, right? It's not like it was before. They don't value their own.
If they didn't value, no, they don't value their own. We've seen that, how they treat them, all this debt that Sully keeps talking about. But if we leave here, that's the only thing that gave us any kind of safety from the people we left. If we leave now, we're just on our own, running not just from the Sabbat, but from the Camarilla as well. If that's what we do, then that's what we do. But there's no running far.
Yeah, all right. Maybe we cross that bridge when we get to it. Think about it. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I'll keep it in mind.
All right. Y'all have good luck, I guess, at the mall.
Thanks. I think we get a vacation before, but we'll see how this goes.
Yeah. I'll, have salute, let y'all go.
Ramsey will just pat him on the shoulder before turning to get in the car with Rot.
Yes. They hop in a vehicle for a very, I won't say super long ride, but a decent one. It's going to take them out the ways for a bit. But before we depart from you, good old Warren, where are you headed after this? There was talk and rumor of a meeting you did set up with Damien. Are you still going to it?
Yeah. I need to have that conversation. Because I feel the walls closing in.
Walls tend to do that.
Yeah.
I hear things, is all I'm saying.
Yeah. If he'll meet me, I'm going for definitely.
All right. Well, I believe in your downtimes, if you had a chance to see that as a refresher today, I sent him a reminder too. In there, they showcased that he told you that you were going to the west side to attend a block party.
Oh yeah, that being the case. On the way, let me go grab a rack of ribs, some Heinz 57, and I probably get a handle of Hennessy too. I don't know who's gonna be there.
You're bringing party favors, is what I'm hearing.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Firehouse Block Party isn't just a phrase. Locally, even for you who've lived here for a bit, West Side's not someplace you necessarily hung out at, because there's a lot of living. It's a residential area. You're dead, so kind of a lot of the daytime activity that you would have been indoctrinated the neighborhood with, you catch up with a few locals on the side here and there, but haven't really ran into anyone of worth. And what I mean by that, Warren was not only educated and looking to pursue college, it was kind of your haunting spot, right? It's a different group. These are some people that are definitely about enriching the community, and the Firehouse Community House is designed to do just that. Let me get you a photo here. I should probably be more accurate with that. It's Community Arts Building, sir. If you're not familiar with it, basically there are some community projects where they get a hold of a building, city gives them some decent clout to be able to take it over and then use it for the community they're in. This is no different. Same effect, same realization. But so post here, and I'm gonna at you real quick, Mike. Let's get everybody in here in one shot. So up on the west side, you can see this building. You park right up to it, or at least as much you're able to. They even have some blocking cones and whatnot to kind of guide traffic where to go. You hear the music way before you show up to this place, because classic Chicago, right? Someone announces a block party, and this word gets out, right? No one's going to miss a chance to head to a block party because we know what it means. And for you who may not know, this means food. This means folks bring in sort of a potluck. Everybody brings food together on a table. Community gets together. Folks hang out. But it's on the lot of the property itself. And it can go, why they call it block parties, is they'll shut down traffic typically from one residential end to the other and whatnot. And you'll see some classics here. Given the weather's been a little warmer and whatnot, you'll see that there is a fire hydrant open at the end of the street. You got to kind of, where this is you parking, you bringing your cooler to come with, right? To find where you got to go. And as you're walking down the street and see everybody kind of hanging out, in their conversations and whatnot, it's nighttime. You don't get the summer effect of these photos, but I'm going to put them up here just so you can get an idea of kind of what you're dealing with. Weather aside, I feel these aesthetics are rock solid. Like, you get to the building, go to the back. They have their own tent pitch pavilions that are up there. They got a cookout and a grill master, and everyone knows people. That's the most important thing here. Roughly maybe about 100 people scattered, kind of in their own mix, drinking, having fun. Some people playing dominoes. Looks like a lot of folks are just hanging out, shooting shit, laughing, having a good time. There's, at this point, some food being cooked left over with whatever grill's there. But you got a good feeling and authority that anything good's already been had, which makes you the hero. Because you can hear the complaints, right? Walking up and like, nobody knows you, but you fit the motif. You headed in there. You'll even be shocked that a couple people like, oh man, hey, get up. I remember you. How you doing, man? Ain't been here a while. That's as much talk as they do. They're like walking by, or you're walking by, and you get the head nod. They say that, letting you know that at least you're accepted by a few, which seems to be enough that nobody cares that you're there. But as you're walking through, I'm assuming you're heading over to the grill.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. The grill master needs his supplies.
The grill is probably, that's a daytime photo, and you got the feeling this guy might have been at it a hot minute. You know what I mean? It's one of those things where at this point, he's probably half in the bag. He's standing up there, by the grace of God, go I, right? He's just turning some burnt food here and there, and it's good enough. And why is it burnt? Let me explain to you the ability of cooking that goes into this. This is not somebody who spent years watching Gordon Ramsay cook nothing, and you don't need to. When you're grilling, it's about burned flesh. We know how this go. You throw it on raw, you throw the sauce on it, you rotate it around. When it gets black, it's done, and you pull it off. That's it. Your sauce is supposed to have a little char to it. Ideally, you want a little before that, but if it happens, never hurt nobody. You don't waste it. You throw it on there. Now, why it gets that way, it's probably one of the most colorful characters you've ever come across, right? Personality is just, as he's up there cooking, he can yell at kids like he has eyes in the back of his head. Right there heading over to the parking lot. You see some kid doing something he's not supposed to. He knows, and he's yelling it out. And you hear stuff like, Charlotte, grab your child. You shouldn't be out there doing that. You shouldn't be playing around. Hey, T-Ray, I see you. And he'll turn from an point with his special. That's right. You want another hot dog, you want to calm down. You get on the grass with that. And the yelling is going back and forth. Everyone's laughing knowing he's there. And what cracks you up is that you don't even need to be introduced to this guy as you come walking up, right? For the simple reason that they call him, hey, yo, Unc. Yeah, did you want another beer? He goes, I look like I need another beer. I'm holding one, ain't I? And then he'll look around and have to pick his beer up. And he's like, this is my beer. He goes, but you weren't holding it, right? It's like a guy maybe 13, 14, looks dejected, like he was sent on this errand to get something. He goes, what I tell you get? He's like, don't I get a sausage or something? You gonna get something? But you got no plate, you got no bunny, you got no napkin, you ain't getting a damn thing from me till you learn how to do that at least. Go on. Sends him on his way. And folks chuckle whatever as the kid gets his stuff and wordlessly comes back, and of course he's going to serve him. But this is sort of the thing you're walking up to.
I will kind of stand at a respectful distance from the grill master and then kind of hold up my offering like, do you want this? Should I put it back in the truck or what?
What is that? What you got in there, young blood?
I got some ribs and some high 57 and some brown for y'all.
You got some ribs. They pork?
No, they beef.
Oh, let's put him right on. Let me make room. As he starts stacking sausages to cook, which you don't do, as you spread them out to cook, he's stacking them out, making. You see the look of man of when you bring up ribs. He's like, oh, we gotta treat them special. For him, it'll be burnt to hell sausages at the end. But you open the cooler to get it going. He'll help you put them on there real quick. He's like, the trick is you gotta let them sizzle a little bit, get that char to it before we add the sauce. So we got a minute. Says, I hear you've been looking to talk to someone.
Yeah. There's a young fellow. Well, younger than me. I've seen him around the way.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to catch up with him, but he told me when I got here to ask for a Mr. Fremont.
Mr.
Might
Fremont.
be my guy. Yeah. I want to say John Fremont.
You'll hear that same kid who's over eating the sausage. He goes, hey, Unc, isn't that your name? Ain't nobody asked you. Turn over and look right there. He goes, tell you what, you don't have to call me Mr. Fremont. Just call me Unc. That's fine. Our uncle is good. Around these kids, especially, me knowing your name's John Fremont. We call me out my daddy. But why don't you go grab the fire starter over there on the table? This coals are getting a little low. And they're not, Mike. I want you to know that. He's like, they're getting a little low. Yeah, you mean you can't see the flame up by the meat? They're getting low. And he's telling you, hey, give me the fire starter off the table. We get this going.
That concerns me a bit, Bob, for reasons that are predictable. I'm gonna go get this man his fire starter. I'm gonna hand it to him and I'm gonna give him space.
Right. He's like, you can't be afraid of the flame. You a grown ass man. You be cooking for them children. You gotta cook right. And all y'all my children, you know that. Everybody out here younger than me. I've been here forever. I've been out here on Avers on the west side since they put the A in the alphabet. Isn't that right? Take a sip of beer. As he's putting the extra fire starter right on the coals, you'll see that flame kick up and you hear, woo, little much. So it'll put the lid on the grill. Gotta get that about 4 or 5 minutes. Trademark char. I learned that from a Texas friend I used to know back in the day. So you got burned outside, so the inside retains the juices.
That seemed logical. I'm all right.
You hear someone like on the side, like a class, and like, hell no, that ain't logical. That's how you burn meat. Right? He said, and that's someone who gonna get an empty stomach, Ray. He just sits empty right back. Everyone's laughing. And he'll turn around and goes, man, just give it a little bit. It didn't need a little too high, a little much, maybe. But you want to talk to Uncle Fremont? I'm right here. What's at you?
Well, the young fellow I'm looking for, his name is Damien, but he
I know him, and I know why he sent you to me. But I need to hear why you think you need to come to me.
Oh, well, I mean, to put it as politely as possible, it's a matter of life and death, man. Possibly somebody else's, but definitely mine. And he ain't the type of dude whose time I'll waste. I'll put it that way.
You remember hearing the name? You ever hear of the Black Pea Stones?
Yeah, Jeff Ford and them. I remember that group. Uh-huh.
Yeah. You know what happened to them, right?
No, not other than what's on TV. I got distracted.
They'll point the spatula at you, and you ain't never gonna.
Word. All right.
So that's just me saying you can talk to me about whatever you want. Nothing gets said about nothing.
Okay. Well, there's a certain other fellow in town, less than an associate for me, but with some authority, if you understand what I mean. I got it on reasonable suspicion, damn near confirmation that there's going to be an attempt on his life. And the reason I know that is somebody asked me and some friends of mine to do it. And that's I'm not interested, right? But because of some other mess that I'm in, you understand, Damien know about that. I'm in a rock and a hard place. It's a setup. And it's a setup plainly on his face. But my word ain't gonna travel as far as his.
Is that about it?
That's the long and the short.
He'll take the lid off and start, maybe rotating stacks of sausages for a minute, and he'll go, "What I'm hearing, I'm trying to think about what you said. And maybe it bothered me a little bit. Because you didn't say your crew, you said friends. Friends make me think this ain't even business.
Ain't no business of mine. Really ain't no business of ours, but we all kind of in the same hot pot.
So you in deep.
Real deep.
All I could tell you is how we do on the street. You already got an idea of that. But sometimes when you're in a rock and a hard place, you just got to break something down. And what I mean by that is, I think in your heart, you know what you need to do. And it's a question of heart at this moment. I mean, I know why Damien sent you to me, and it's because I often talk to him about things. Just what we see and what goes on, and I help straighten him out, but he don't know the answer either. He had a lot of hurt, came to me to talk about. But look here. This is a word puzzle of the heart. Only you can really figure it out. At some point, you got to realize that if those friends are your friends, I only see you here. Right? And that's telling. That means your only friend in the world. See what I'm saying?
Maybe so. But you know how folks is, man. They always they got some other business and pressing issues and whatnot.
Now, don't misunderstand. I ain't saying like your friend's got to be with you 24/7, but you got some heavy weight. You come and ask a stranger about how to handle your heart and to hear it out loud. And what I'm gonna tell you is what you told me. You got some type of way that you owe someone. You got to do something for them, and they got you over barrels. What it sounds like. You ain't got a choice. You got to do what they say. And if you ain't got a choice, then you ain't got a choice. But if it was a choice that you could easily make and easily do, you wouldn't need to talk to nobody about it. But if you don't do something, this somehow going to be bad news for you and yours. Is that right?
Yeah. But I tell you, I ain't lived forever, man. But I lived long enough that I'm tired of ultimatums. People trying to force me to do shit. You know what I'm saying? It's just not.
Well, young man, I hate to break it to you now, because if you ain't figured out by now, I don't know when you is. Especially in this life, in this world. I would tell you something wise and smart, like look at this community center and figure it out. But that ain't going to make no sense to you. So I'll put it in a way that we should clearly understand. You ain't got shit. You ain't gonna have shit unless you take it. It's that simple. Do you think for a second a man wants to pick up a gun, stick it in someone else's face, and take all the money that they made from their paycheck that day?
No, not if you're in his right mind. No, you don't.
Ain't no way you want to do it, but it got to get done if you want to eat that night. See how this goes?
Yeah.
I mean, look at this neighborhood. These buildings, old as dirt. But I bet a Starbucks get a new refresh every time they need it from the city,
Yeah, a fresh paint job and all.
right?
They'll even fill in the potholes.
Now, before we get on that rut and even just brush it off, we don't need to talk about hard living in communities and upkeeps. But I'll tell you this, every bit of it came from war zones. Why we got a community, the whole thing is to stop people from having violence in the neighborhood. But it's weird. People act like that nobody live here. That's what this block party about. We all live here. You think we want to be here? There are people here with felony raps. There's people here probably warrants out for them. You ain't gonna see a cop roll up tonight. Now, I mean, it's because the city put neighborhoods up to forget about people like us, and that's that. Now, the only reason I bring that up is I want you to think in your mind, why do you think we'll pick up a gun and go take someone's paycheck? It's because we can't leave this place. We can't afford the rent and the places so much as a block over. Way too much. And the jobs they afford us here, the jobs they want us to keep in this neighborhood where we're at. In other words, they're saying stay where you are. Go nowhere else. But they ain't going to update shit. They ain't going to clean shit. They ain't going to give opportunities. So in other words, we got to make it. Now, I'd give you some sob story about, sure, we can get good at football. We can get good at basketball. So I'm going to play baseball. Well, there's probably 4 or 5 scholars to be in this motherfucker. They're going to try to make it up. And of course, children get a chance to do well. And if they do well in school, that's their shot. But what do you do when your child's only so-so at school? What do you do when your child can't go to school because dad's on crack? Mom's working the one job at the grocery store trying to keep the lights on. Someone got to do something to get money in there so they can eat. He ain't got time to go get grades. Ain't no one care about that. And if the po-po found out about that, what would happen?
Lock him up.
Done. Would wreck that family. So what I'm saying to you is, that's a rock and a hard place too. But what are we doing? We're out here doing what we can to at least enjoy the neighborhood we got, to appreciate who we stand with, understand our woes. This looks like we're just out here hanging out. But I promise you, people sharing some pain. And maybe they find some levity. Maybe someone knows something. Maybe someone has a relative who did get out that has some ends and opportunities open up for them. Maybe we can help people out. That's what this is.
Yeah, group therapy by barbecue. I get it.
And you talking to me now, and this is what I'm telling you. You a person who clearly understands what power is. But power is not something you go and get an answer to. It's not something you tell anybody about and you're going to get an answer to. You ain't going to get a handout or hand up. Power is something where you look at that gun on the counter and you decide, is today you're going to eat? Or are you going to continue to go out and panhandle and hope someone take pity on you? That's it. You tired of ultimatums, all life is going to give you is an ultimatum. You ain't never had it easy. You ain't never had a breathing moment. You ain't never known what a breathing moment is. Hell, when someone told you you had a breathing moment, someone had to tell you you had the opportunity to breathe. Which isn't a breathing moment, is it?
Nah. It's just a different flavor.
So that's what I'm going to tell you. I don't know what it's about. I don't know who it is, and you don't need to tell me, but I'm going to tell you right now, that's the most important thing I can tell you. You are either the person with power or you the one serving power. Those are the only 2 options ever thrown at us.
I can take that for what it means.
But D in the house, you want to talk to him?
Yeah. I feel like I got to, like it's some kind of moral imperative, as they say. But I appreciate the advice all the same.
When you come back, I'll have some ribs for you, maybe.
Thank you for that.
Just smile.
I'm assuming he's bullshitting, but I'm not gonna check. I'm gonna just up nod him and go to find D.
It's not hard. Going into the community house itself, obviously use it opens to use the bathroom and whatnot. The inside is pretty interesting. You walk into a kind of a meeting in progress. There's a bunch of folk inside, all sorts really, that are in here having a nice polite chat. You don't know what it's about, really. You can gather from the quiet voices, and they got speakers that maybe they're being heard to and fro. It's interesting for you to see Damien though in that crowd, and he's off to the far right. Not in any special. We know who this dude is as a vampire in a room, but as one of the community. He's hanging out there, sees what's going on, but when you walk in the room and he sees you, he nods. He gets up. No one says anything. Goes to the back, gets himself a cup of coffee, grabs him a cookie, and he starts heading off to the side room. It's just adjoining. There's several rooms connected to this one, as obviously you walk past him coming in, and he'll just head into the room after getting the cookie and the coffee. Not that he expects you to do the same, but that's what he's doing.
I'll go with the coffee. I'm not going to pretend with the cookie, but I could warm my hands a little bit. I'll follow him, you know, and I'll just say, hey man, I'm sorry to steal a little bit of your time like this, but it's kind of a big deal. Somebody, and I don't know who, although I suspect, has asked me to well, not me, us, to kill somebody in this town where we've been told to behave ourselves. And that would be problem enough, except for who it is, which makes it a lot worse. And then I just look at him and see if he's picking up what I'm putting down.
He's already looking at you as it's like vagaries, right? You're like, somebody has asked to do something. He'll go, look, man, do me a favor. Just tell me straight.
All right. Somebody tried to get Sully to bring us all along to kill KJ.
He'll look away just for a second to look back at you, and what'd you tell him?
Oh, I wasn't part of the conversation. This was the directive I was given.
Sullivan know?
Sullivan know that I'm talking to
Talking
you?
to me. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's not stupid. Here's the thing, man. It's obvious it's a setup. If we succeed, whatever dark, nefarious masters have a plan for this city, they get their way, they kill us anyway. I would. If we fail, oh, look at this Sabat, we should never have brought them to our bosom, et cetera, et cetera. I'm already planning to try to convince my guys to just leave this city if we ain't found some kind of way out of this situation, because I don't see this going well no matter how it shakes, right? But if I'm gonna tell anybody, and I just point, like, what am I supposed to do here?
Huh. I think this is a time to remind you the circumstances how we met. Do you remember that?
Yep. Out there behind the barbecue shack. You whoop my ass like a professional.
And what I say then?
You told me to keep it straight with you. I don't recall the rest. I was kind of in bad shape, you might remember.
I tried to make this point across to your crazy ass ductus at the time, right? He came in the neighborhood, thought he knew what was what. He got his ass handed to him. And I thought it was funny because I heard the Sabat was some rolling badasses. Right? So that was interesting to me. And I thought maybe I had to bring a whole crew, and y'all weren't prepared for it. You're here now telling me and you're still not prepared for it. And what I got to say right now is you didn't put me in a rock and a hard place. So I got to kill you. At the very least, I got to stake you and bring you to KJ right now. Now, I know there's a building full of people here, and we met publicly. This is for my safety, but I'm trying to judge right now, not whether or not I should stake you, but which person KJ is going to want me to call to cover this up, because it happened. Because you told me what I needed to hear. Like what you said, I'm gonna put you in a position of what a good sheriff has to do. Let me tell you what my title is, since you don't seem to get what that means. I protect the city. Right? To all who bend the knee to Kevin Jackson has sworn that loyalty and is to the Camarilla. That means that they owe certain protection to them from people like y'all, if you wasn't Camarilla. Now you are, but you're coming to me saying that your coterie, your crew, agreed by your leader that they're going to kill KJ because someone put him up to it. Now I already know that we got to find out who put him up to it, how and why, and how far it go. But I'm not about to let you walk out of my sight.
Look, man, I'm not asking you to. I wasn't sure I was going to live through this conversation. Just give me one more thing. I don't know what's going on with Sully. I'm obviously not one of his clan. But whoever you call, don't call no Ventru. And there's this guy from the Blue Velvet. I can't remember his name. Bob, can I get an assist? What is the guy who I peeped feeding like really brutally by a dumpster long ago, who flashed me a Sabbat symbol while we were eating? I can't remember his name. I'm drawing a blank right now. Fuck.
I tell you what, you can pick somebody from that scene that was in there and see if they could help you with it.
Okay. Neely.
There you go.
Neely. Yeah, I'll tell Damien, don't call no Ventru, and especially don't call Neely. You gonna see.
All right. Well, look, what it's worth to you, our relationship as it is, you respect it as loose as it was, but you held up your end with honor and came to me with dignity.
And dignity is all I got left.
Look,
I did a lot of shit I didn't want to.
You went through the same academy I did. You know what that means with me. So I ain't gonna kill you, but I can't let you walk around like it's up and up.
It's not.
All right.
Don't miss.
And it is a matter of respect. I'll put the coffee and the cookie down for a second. You'll see him walk over to the flag that's hanging in the room, as often these community rooms have, probably for a class later on during the week. And he'll take the pole down. He'll break off the top half and get a good section lined up. It'll be fast. It'll be fast, unless you're resisting and you have full opportunity to do so right now.
No, I wouldn't. What I'm trying to think of is what I can do to make sure I don't frenzy in this building full of people, but I don't have a bright idea about that.
Well, here's the beauty of narration. Right now, he definitely has the capability, especially if you're not fighting him, to do what he's got to do. But if you're going to fight him, we can fight him, and you're free to do so.
No, that's not why I came here. No.
Okay. It happens quick, right? He is not a person that goes, he doesn't shatter their breastbone or break it through in some amazing feat. What he does do is he walks up to you, and for the briefest moment, you'll see him, I got to pat you down for weapons, is what he'll tell you. This is for you, man. If you got something on the side that's real nice, you can keep it. Do you have anything?
I got a crowbar in my pants.
He'll start patting it down, and when he picks up, he says, can you pull out that crowbar for me? I want to have to feel you. Yeah. When you pull out just that gesture, that exact gesture, when you pull up the crowbar and your arm lifts, he'll slam the stake through the armpit right in. Right? And it's painful, it's quick, and it's a sudden stop. And Damien will catch you, and we'll pick you up, and you'll see him. Shit. And whether it's bad luck or not, you'll see a couple people like, yeah, we'll meet you all here again next week. He's like, fuck. Right? Because he's got a body now with a piece of wood sticking out of the arm. As you obviously understand that the greats don't even have a solid plan every now and then.
Right.
And his only regression there at that point is that it's a very dizzying display of speed. As it's like a couple bursts. You're inside, you're outside, there's a car that opens up, but all you hear is, what the fuck? Who just ran by? He's like, what? Did somebody run by home? Anybody see? You hear that talk? And he's like, ah, shit. As you hear the truck start up, he just starts playing loud music, shaking his head, and starts trying to drive out of there as you're laying there hearing that. I remember how staking works. It's though you're paralyzed, micro movements, right? Just a reminder. You can blink a little bit, twitch your fingers, toes, whatnot. In other words, you're aware of your surroundings. It's the horrible state of affairs until you would try to wake up and couldn't and would fall in a torpor. So you're still there, but we'll deal with that as you're in transit, as it said. That being said, you two are still going out to Gurney, but Sullivan, you're going to receive a phone call. And it is from Damien.
You'll pick up the phone. Sullivan.
Yeah, Sullivan, this is Damien. I'm just going to come up front with it. I'm in a situation. You're going to have to meet to deal with this, man. Warren got into some shit.
What now?
Yeah, well, what now indeed? There's a place I'm going to send you to we call the Castle. I'm not talking the club.
What's the address?
I'm going to do you one better. I'm going to come by and pick you up and we're going to head to it.
All right, sounds good. I guess at the Haven.
You got your crew with you?
No, I don't.
All right. Well, I'm going to get you, but do you know where they're at? I'm trying to corroborate things, kind of organize stuff. Well, where's Ramsey? Where's Rot?
Ramsey and Rod are taking a look into something. I think they're heading out of town for a bit. They should be back shortly.
Nah, you need to do whatever you can to call them and tell them to come meet you.
All right. Yeah, I'll give you a call back.
All right.
And he'll hang up the phone and he'll dial Ramsey Rot.
Well, we'll just say Rot first because Ramsey's back. All right.
Right.
So for you two, as far as you got in your trip to good old Gurney, you're about 30 minutes out on the highway. Got about maybe another, if that, 35 before you're right where you were for the investigation. And you get a phone call from Sully.
I'll put
What's
him
up?
on. Oh.
I guess he's put on speaker regardless of
Yeah,
how
he's
it
put on
happened.
the speaker. Sorry.
Hey, Warren's in trouble.
What?
What do you mean?
He ran afoul of Damien somehow. And Damien's calling in to see where we're at. We got to corroborate stuff for him. And until said otherwise, Warren is still part of us. So we're going to have to stand up for him.
What do you mean he ran afoul of Damien?
No details mentioned, but they're not going to mention anything over the phone either. For obvious reasons. I hope you understand.
It's going to be like 30 minutes. We're mostly out of the city by now.
Well, I'll wait for you. There's no other way around it. Besides, to be honest, it's better that you show up because if you don't, and Warren has run truly afoul of it, you two would just be seen as probably part of the problem, escaping the problem. But at least if we show up together, have a show of force, it's a better idea than not to. I'm going to call up Slappy right now and have him meet me up.
Where are we
spot.
going?
Haven. We're getting picked up.
Fine.
Yes, turn around.
All right, I'll meet you guys there. And he'll call up Slappy.
Slappy will pick up the phone. You can kind of tell by his voice he sounds a little out of it, and he just, yeah.
What's wrong?
Oh, the usual. I look at my caller ID and I see your name, and yeah, usually puts me in a foul mood. I hope you have some good news for me, though, man. Really use it.
Depends on how you look at it. Warren got himself into some trouble.
Man,
Again.
fuck!
I know. But Damien wants to corroborate a story. he's coming to meet up with the crew and have a chat with them. I had to call the guys back because if we don't, I was telling the others that it might just look bad as if they were part of it, considering the 2 members that are looking into, well, that situation out of town might seem as if they set up the situation. I can't afford that to happen. Let me take that back. We can't afford that to happen. So we got to have a good show of force, and play nice to do nice and figure out what's wrong with Warren.
So what do you want me? So what you need from me right now?
We just need to all meet up and be ready to talk to Damien.
Okay, so we're meeting with the sheriff. I'll be there as a
Right.
show of unity. But I'll tell you this, Sully. If this ends, I'ma fuck you in hell. And then he hangs up the phone.
Sullivan just hangs up the phone and just adjusts his glasses. And he waits for his crew. And or Damien, whoever gets there first.
All right. Well, first and foremost, if you're chilling there and the crew's meeting up, we're just going to make this real simple. If it's a half hour away, everybody's meeting, and anybody not going. All right, that was the silent ascension.
Mm-hmm.
As it happens out, right? What you see is a white conversion van is sitting at the spot before you get there, Sully, and before everyone else does.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to do this in order. You're all going to see the same thing, but we'll start with good old Sully here. She's a young woman you haven't really had the pleasure of talking to much. You've seen her occasionally, especially when talks with the prince. Kind of an outlier on the side that's kind of hanging out there. And there's one more here. Boom. Pow. Now, these two don't seem to match. She, for one, seems real aloof, kind of salt of the earth type. Minding her own P's and Q's. This guy is in the car looking annoyed, looks very snooty. In fact, sees you and has a very judgment look. Like, I want you to think if he was in an art gallery, he would fit. Right? Someone who's very much like, that won't do. Like, from afar, sizing you up silly instantly. Right? Where she's just sort of like, fuck. Right? Just staring out the window looking to see who it is. She'll get out the car, he won't. Or out the van, he won't. She'll go to the back and she'll open up the door, but doesn't tell you to get in, but she'll light up a cigarette. Anybody else with you? And she'll point to your vehicle.
Nope, waiting on him.
Throw me your keys.
He'll aim for his keys, but he won't throw them. But he will walk over and hand them over, slightly annoyed.
She'll just shake her head, sure. She'll take the keys, put them in. Hey, do you never mind. I was gonna no, we'll just leave it there.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's cool. You need a cigarette or anything?
Actually, I do. And he'll extend his hand for a cigarette.
She rolls her own, and but she does have a little case for him, and she'll pull one out and hand it to you.
He'll put one to his lips and he'll shake his head. He's like, "You wouldn't happen to have a lighter, would you?"
Yeah, she'll hand you the lighter as well. It is a standard Bic lighter you can buy anywhere.
Right. He'll light the cigarette and hand her back the lighter. Shake his head. He's like, "I haven't had one of these since before my son was born."
Yeah, it's always funny with statements like those. I only hear those because you could probably guess by the van, doors open. I have your car keys. So you already know then.
He'll shake his head. He's like, "That, you try and try with people, and sometimes you could help them, sometimes you can't."
Yeah, fair. The ball's on you, kid.
Do you know what he did?
Well, I know you're going to get a say. I know that much because we wouldn't be talking otherwise.
Is he still around?
It's a little chummy here. We're not here social hour. I just, I know I set that up, but that's why I tried not talking. I have this thing where I'm like deadly curious. if you know what I know, and then you don't know what I know, but you know something enough to start talking about a habit you haven't done forever, like you're saying your goodbye to fate. And I hate that. My sire always liked fate and talked about it. I never quite understood it. And never mind. It was a group thing. Call it group therapy. I hate it. I'm glad he's dead. But the point is, just we're cool. You'll see the window roll down in the car, and you'll hear this guy say something in French out of the car, and she'll roll her eyes and look at him. Oui, oui, monsieur, or whatever. Excuse me. She'll go up to the front, and you'll watch this guy like yelling at her, like close range. Arguments are going on, micro arguments, right? That like couples do. They're going back and forth, and you'll see her fangs distend, and she'll hiss at him, and he'll just smile and kind of take that look back, has his hands up, like, okay, you win. And she'll turn around, kind of get herself in order. Just get in the back of the van, please.
He'll take another drag of the cigarette, flick it to the side, and head into the van.
Van is simple. Like, you get back there, there's no seats, but you can sit down, and there is a simple guard right there. That little gate looks like cage wall that's there before it gets to the front that separates church and state. But you do notice there's no handle on the inside of this van. This is clearly a collection, right? You go around getting people, roaches check in, don't check out till someone opens that door, though.
He'll get in and he'll sit, assuming that the door closes on him. Is she out there and he's inside?
She's out there. She doesn't close the door, though.
Okay.
They're just waiting. You don't know what the purpose of you having to go in without closing the door, but that's what happens. But barring you're just waiting, time elapses. She'll ask you once or twice, where the hell are they? What's going on? Obviously, explain distance and whatever. And lo and behold, Slappy, you were going, right?
Yeah, I was most definitely going.
Yep. So when you get there to the location, there's the conversion van. You can see Sully's car's parked there. You don't see Sully, but the back of the van's open, and this woman standing outside looking annoyed.
Slappy will just park his car, get out, and look at the conversion van, and just kind of shake his head and shrug his shoulders, and then be like, "This the ride?"
Yeah, it's the ride. You got to get in. I need the keys to your car, especially if you want your ride when you get done.
Slappy will kind of smile a little at the concept of being done and the idea of getting his keys back, and he'll do one of those like things to like flip the keys to
her. She's not super quick like an indie action film at all. Like, you do the flip thing and she kind of juggles, misses, picks it up. Appreciate you not making that a pain in the ass.
Hey, I'm not here to fight this. And Slappy will just start heading into the conversion van.
All right. You'll see Sullivan there, and if you guys aren't going to say anything, others will come. But if you wish to talk now, you can.
Slappy will sit right next to Sullivan and just kind of lean his head back in the conversion van, and then just shrug his shoulders and then be like, "It's always something, huh, Sully?"
Always something with Warren. But hey, look at it this way. If it was really that bad, we wouldn't be having this conversation, and they'd had send a hit squad out after us. But considering that they're just collecting us, there's a possibility it ain't too bad.
Yeah, hey, they said there's a possibility that, they said that I could get my keys back, so I got a little more faith.
You'll smile at that. I just gotta wait for the other two.
All right. So for Ramsey and Rot, when you guys roll up to the lot, is a pain in the ass. Half a tank done. Side of the tides.
Prices these days.
You get there, same setup. The girl situation. What do you guys want to do?
want to not be here.
We're way past that point, right?
Yeah.
Ramsey will get out. After watching the parking lot for a couple of minutes, we do see them inside the van that has the doors wide open.
Correct.
All right. Well, the jig's already up, I guess. And he'll go walk over.
Rowling us all in there.
All right. You folks climb in. The keys are asked for it. I just want to reiterate that if you tell her no or whatever, that's what I'm looking for. Otherwise, you get the keys. It's all good. It's on you.
Yeah, Who was driving anyway? I kind of assumed that
I'm
Ramsey
assuming
was driving.
you, considering Ramsey is the type of person
Oh,
that doesn't use a car.
Yeah, I have
that's
a
right, he
bus
doesn't.
pass, and only because Sully gave that to me.
Then yes, I'll hand over the keys.
You
I won't
got
do
it.
anything flashy. I'll just like grab them, slap them in their hand.
She'll get it, and she'll shut the door. She'll hop up front. She'll do a phone call as she starts the engine. Real short on her end. What you'll hear is, "Yeah, I got him. Willingly got the keys. Yep, we're coming." And she'll hang up and starts driving. Guys don't know where you're headed. Being in conversion, there's no windows in the back. You can kind of see out the gate in the front, but it's not enough to get a strong gauge. They begin driving wherever they're going. One of you, I'm going to assume Ramsey and his instinct seems to be the type that would do this. You do watch the time, right? You're going to keep an eye on it to see how long it gets to from where you're at. For everybody else, it feels like the classic city jaunt. Wherever it is, on the other side of the city or deep in or wherever, it takes over 30 minutes to get there. Not 100% certain. Lights are lights in the city. Everything has that weird orangish glow at night. When you're downtown, when you get to a busy area, it just seems to have this light that only the night encapsulates. However, eventually it gets quiet, and you see the lights are not so strong. And bit of highway travel, slows down, bumpy road, gravel, but you could tell Ramsey by the difference of that. A little rural, and night sounds kind of resume, but you got to remember, city's still nearby. You can tell that much at least by distance. But we'll pull off to the side. You'll hear the car stop for the van stop. People get out. A little different. You can hear what sounds like some sort of music is being played by the heavy bass and beat. It's hard to tell, especially these days, if it's like old school gangster rap or house music or whatever. It's hard to place that. However, they leave you guys there. Both of them get out, the door shut, and it's just silence as you're there for a minute. However, you know humans better than most, and you can tell that there's a sizable amount of folks out here. You don't know exactly where you're at, but there's enough people to where side conversation's hard to pick out unless you're really talented with that aspects. And other than that, it definitely seems that wherever you're at, it's like a party maybe is undergoing. Or underway, I should say. But you guys are left there for the moment. Are you going to do anything in that moment, or are you just going to wait till you get the instruction?
Ramsey will use heightened senses to see if he can hear what anyone is saying.
Yeah, and what I got to say is that it sounds like a lot of people getting hyped up. It's like you'll hear one guy say, "When do you think they're going to hit him?" And you'll hear real quick says, "I don't know, man. You don't take on the king take on you. Whoever comes dies. That's that. Fucking dead." And you'll hear this like those dumbasses in that van. Says, "What you gonna do?" "I don't know. I'm gonna get the single. We're gonna dump gasoline on the inside of that bitch. We're gonna light it on fire and walk away. I don't know what he wants to do. Fuck him. I imagine Santos already shot them people, man. I ain't heard nobody say nothing. That van ain't even moved since I got out it." You'll hear talk like that kind of go back and forth, and you'll hear, "Hey, young stupid. Keep it down. Ain't nobody die unless he say. You know that. Man, you don't call me to come in here if I don't kill him. People die when I show." And you'll hear this bravado talk. I don't know how long you want to listen to this. It's going back and forth where they're like, "These aren't normal people, stupid. You know that. You ain't normal either." He's like, "Yeah, but I've been doing this for 30 years, son. I've been killing people and hiding bodies and stacking corpses around this city. I'm itching to kill one of them good. You say I move up when someone die, right? Man, ain't nobody know about that. That's a rumor. Some of us are from out of town. We got flown in. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. Shut up before you get added to your stacks. And, basically you'll hear it get quiet for a second. I do mean a second. And then you'll hear music get keyed way up. And then there's an argument about that. And you'll hear it get pulled down. This is classic signs. Too many warriors, not enough combat.
Right. I'm going to turn over to Sully. And I don't care if anyone in this little circle hears me saying this, but I'm just addressing it to Sully. These are KJ's people. And they're killers. And they
Fucking
want
shoulda
to
known.
kill us.
Sully will I don't know. Out of character question, Bob. Would Sully be angry enough to want to frenzy, or can he?
This is always an interesting question when a player says it. I don't know when you're going to call for frenzy as a player. This is because when you play a role where emotions are, we won't say questionable as much as I don't want to direct what you're feeling.
Right.
I can't know. Are there reasons for Sullivan to be pissed? I had thought that 20 minutes ago.
Right.
Right? But you didn't ask for it. I wasn't going to bring it up. And Sullivan has a calm composure and enough resolve to hold it down, at least to be like, I'll hear it out and see what it is. Hearing your own admittance that I haven't had a smoke like that since blah, blah, blah. Santos is very correct as she gave that very grim. How is it people always know? Right? And you don't know what she meant, but the inference, I would say right now, Sullivan might be able to piece together her inference.
Right.
Especially hearing that. Was she referring when you're about to die?
In retrospect, I guess it would sound that way. And especially hearing that KJ's present for it, he could only draw so many dots. And with Warren's name being there, that should probably be the breaking point of when he would get upset.
Then what I'm going to say is resolve composure, because you're asking for the dice to tell the fate. And since we're not 100%, and I also don't know why you would frenzy at this moment. That's more important. Because, do you have reason to frenzy? Of course you do. But at this moment, from Ramsey talking to you, would it be at Ramsey? Who would it be at?
Right. So if my source of anger isn't there, then I shouldn't have to. I could be able to hold it down a little bit more.
Okay. Sully didn't strike me as the kill the messenger type, but
No, definitely not. He does not want to strike the messenger type.
What I'm saying, though, DJ, I agree with you to do a resolve composure test. I don't think it's going to be a hard one, but you can do one if you feel you asked, so I feel you must.
Right.
Please give me that.
Yes,
what
sir.
is your humanity, sir? And don't forget the bonus dice you get for that because of that.
My humanity is at 4.
Yeah. Well, you get a die, One's
right,
better one's better than 0.
That is true. All right. Well,
So, which you got the diff, right? What this is that as you're literally, there's a lot of things you can be pissed about. But what's worse than anything is that you can't narrow it down. And that's because you are angry at the situation. There are thoughts in your head. Why did we get in this van? Right? They just were remote. He said those are KJ's people. Why am I seeing KJ? What did Warren do? Right, is what's in your head, but he's not here to answer for that. What if he's already dead? And this hits because if Warren's already dead, what did he say? What does Warren always say? Right, that's the thought that's in your head. But you're able to keep this down as you're looking at Ramsey, and wisely. I would say because you're looking at Ramsey, those two are at the hip. No matter what. But like you said, shoot the messenger type, you're not. Ramsey, this is noticeable. Though he holds it back, you can sense, right? You're a vet. That temper's there, but he's able to keep it behind a 3-piece suit.
Ramsey will just cock his head to the side, but after saying that and Sully taking it as he does, Ramsey just kind of, he doesn't sit still in this circle of us here. He's kind of pacing around, watching the people around us.
Sully will simply say, Ramsey, you know Warren better than most. Is there any particular reason we would be in this situation now?
Do you remember why Telly doesn't like us?
He'll snap his fingers. Remind me.
He talked to the wrong people. Said things he, well, probably shouldn't have. But that's in the past. Warren also talked to me about leaving the city, convincing the rest of you to leave the city with us. But a funny thing is, I told him I think it's a little too late for that. And, oh, fuck. I guess I was right.
So he hands us over to KJ.
You shut your fucking mouth. Warren's a lot of things, but he's not a fucking traitor. Not to me. Not to you.
But to me. And to Slappy.
Slappy's like totally checked out of this conversation at this point. He's like leaning up against the like side of the car, not like inside. He's like leaning against the door, and he's got one of his feet up, and he's got his phone out, and he's texting his brother Miles, and he's just saying, "Look, man, I know it's been a while since we talked. I just wanted to let you know that no matter what, you my blood, and I love you. Let's get together soon." Like. And then he'll just put his phone down.
So why I make that? Because your phone's blowing up.
Oh,
Right. You send a message like that and it's to a loved one. You can't call your brother close and be like, farewell. Life is dangerous now. Right. It sounds like suicide, doesn't it? Like just something happens. You never know in life. It's strange. But something, you know what I mean? Those farewell wishes where it's like, oh, hell no. And so it's like, bring. Because he was that way before.
Yeah, Slappy will pick up the phone just to.
You're here. Are you okay?
Yeah, man, I'm just high as camel pussy, brother, and I just been thinking about how, it's been a while since we talked.
He starts laughing, right? He's like, oh man, you're just okay. Yeah, no problem, man. I love you too. Just it's cool. It's cool. Do you want to come by? Like maybe just watch a movie, chill?
Nah, not tonight, man. I'm busy, but sometime soon, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll tell you what, we'll watch those stupid kung fu films you like. I mean, they're cool. I like them too, right? But I'll go get a couple. You come by. Let's just not like play music, deal with anything. Like just hang out.
Yeah. Sounds good, man. Just a night with me and you where we can just fucking vibe it out.
You got it.
Hey, we'll talk soon, brother. I miss you. Always.
You too.
Much love.
Be careful. And he'll hang out.
And Slappy will go back to kind of just leaning back.
You, sir, can go ahead and recover any willpower you lost. And if you were impaired, you're not anymore. Touching with your touchstone for a very good reason like that, in that capacity, to me, would be reinvigorating for you to at least know you gave him peace of mind, all's right in the world, like you intended.
Right.
Sullivan will look over the rest of the coterie and say, all right, so here's the final piece of the Hail Mary. This is the truth of the matter. Don't ask any questions. I'm serious. Don't ask any questions. But I'm going to tell you something. And no matter what happens, whoever makes it out, this is going to be the only thing that's going to probably keep us up and running. He'll clear his throat. He'll clasp his hands. One, it's not the Anarchs that took out Cridius. I did my research. It isn't Riot. I got it on good authority, considering I spoke to, and he'll look over Slappy. I had to reach out to your old man. Apologize, but I need to get it straight from the horse's mouth to find out what the situation was. So we know it's not Riot. Two, it was a goddamn setup. They wanted us to find it. Fortunately, it was only me who found it. So there's going to be a lot of weight on me to have to defend myself regarding the state of Cridius. in case you guys need to know, it's probably better that you don't. But let's just say that there's no possible way that old man could have gone down in the fashion that he was, in the way that they found him. And lastly, my son's been turned into a vampire. And I have a
What?
strong sneaking suspicion that he was involved with what happened to Critias. Like I said, don't ask questions.
Okay.
You'll hear the pounding in the van. You come back and you'll hear, "Yo, man, we want Sully out there, just Sully. We gonna open this door, Sullivan hop out. That's that. Y'all come rushing, we gonna rush, and it's gonna be on."
Good luck.
Ramsey just looks at Sully.
He'll open the door. No, it's a
As
male
he-
voice. Door will open up.
He'll start walking out and he'll look back over at Ramsey. His name is Danny. He said he was working with a doctor or psychologist or something. I'll see you later.
So stepping out, the scenery might be great, but you weren't expecting to have basically a gun shoved in your face. Right? Door opens, you go to step, this guy rounds the corner, has it in your face, and he says basically, classic, right? You can tell he's nervous, but it's right to your face. "Look, man, don't try anything stupid. You go where we go, you walk where we walk." Say it.
I go where we go, I walk where I walk.
Cool. And one of the other guys will come up and just one guy cocks a gun, the other one not with a gun will just point for you to turn to the side to begin walking. But turning around, I'm not going to say you didn't expect this, right? But you do see throngs of gangs, right? There's at least 3 whole sets that are here that you can tell they're on the outside of this building. But let's get specifics here. The building unto itself. You're in a remote location. This location must not be too far out of the city. But Sully, you're a local to Chicago. This place is a recreated restaurant. Someone tried to say they knew of the Great Capone's Hideaway, right?
Yeah.
They bought up some land. And this land they made into a restaurant of the actual Capone's Hideaway that was that for a while. Great steakhouse. Apparently you heard news of it going out of business, but you thought that was out in Wisconsin. You guys didn't drive long enough to be in Wisconsin. At least that you could check. It did feel a while that you were in the car, but you're not there, right? But you also know that recreating buildings is a thing to draw confusion. How you know this is more or less of the real estate we talked about previously, right? There are ways that people go out of their way to hide businesses to confuse people, particular kindred. For instance, if you had a killing zone, right? A ground that you constantly fed on, and people can only say they've ever been to a high-rise apartment. This is why you would have multiple high-rise apartments that look virtually the same, right? Because you're playing guess the address at that point. You hope this is the case. However, you don't recognize anything. There's a couple street lights that are kind of stringy. There's definitely a gravel driveway out to a dirt road, and all you see is greenery everywhere. There's like a lot of trees, but it's not a forest because you can see sparse open what am I thinking of? Like yardage, maybe, that's out there because it seems landscaped enough. But could be a very paranoid person pays to keep the trim down so somebody could sneak up where it is. You're wondering if the prince is in hiding, if this is somewhere that he's at. And you're not 100%. But with the gangs around, obviously this leads to a message of power more than not. Because you know you're not here to be friendly. Right? For whatever reason you're here, has to deal with Warren and something's gone bad. It's as simple as that. However, the gangs unto themselves, they make no distinction as being, nobody cares about color. The days of one gang versus another gang based on color seem out the window. To give you an example, you might need to be somewhere that's LA specific to get a solid Latin American gang. Here, though, you do see the Latin Kings, for instance. Here's the difference, though, about this gang. Latin Kings, you know, they're by color. gold, black, all that fun stuff, lots of symbology for the crown. This is nothing like it, right? So they went out of their way to seem like they're another gang, and it definitely seems like Southern California, or this is a Southern California gang that came up here. And you're trying to estimate the clout of Kevin Jackson. You're not 100%, but these guys are loaded for bear. A lot of the shit talking that I was describing that Ramsey was hearing earlier, you're beginning to see why. There's some braggadocious nature out here with some people who've obviously done probably heinous things. They're very proud of it, or they have yet to do it. And you're here to see what's what. Are you doing anything on seeing some of these groups? Or are you just going to keep it the way it is?
Upon seeing the groups, I have two actions I'd like to take. One, because they do seem like they may or may not be novices or very, very trigger happy. I'd like to rouse for resilience. Just on the offhand that they pop off and I need to stay static enough to make it through.
Certainly.
The second would be I'd like to see whether or not they're it does seem like it is for show, but I want confirmation from it, right? Where are they looking is the better question.
They're looking at that van, and right now you have their attention. Okay. They're paying attention to the three escorting you. And yes. What's your streetwise?
Oops. My streetwise is a mighty 1.
One's enough to get it, at least from this perspective. The three that are there, why they're probably nervous is because, well, let's just dress it down. They are not new. They hold a gun, like they know how to use it enough, or have shot it enough, or maybe even shot someone. Have they been to a war zone? Probably not. Have they done it a long time? No, they're too young to look like that they've been done. They've done it all the time. However, it does instill in you that these are people trying to prove something to people watching them. Makes sense. You got the hardened killers all around.
Right.
These are the three who maybe have done dirt, but they haven't done enough to be considered, maybe strong enough, or this is all like a proving ground. But all they're trying to do is escort you inside.
If that happens to be the case, Sully's not going to give him the satisfaction of having some pink kid try to intimidate him. Would I be able to exude some sort of confidence that lets them know that I'm VIP until I've said otherwise?
I don't know. Like, if you're trying to say, can you go there confidently? That's all about your resolve composure, which we know you have.
Right. Okay.
So if you're not intimidated, you're not intimidated. You can do that. If you're trying to use say something and do something, that's different.
No, that's fine. I'm just going to keep it straight, not say anything until I get to where I have to.
All right. 2 shakes here. There's my photo. Just rounding out the crew here. Good old Microsoft software there. Glitches happen. That's what I'm saying. But at any rate, just make sure you understand the gist of it. There's about 5 solid sets, and just give you an idea of the mix that they have going on. The ones that make you nervous, those would be the ones that are the SoCal gang that they're not wearing masks, right? I'm gonna give you a tip though. Just because they're not wearing stuff that cover their face doesn't mean they're easily recognizable either. There is something to the same style of clothing and outfit. It's enough to know about the gang, but not necessarily the individual. See what I'm saying? DJ?
I'm here. Could you hear me?
I didn't hear you say anything. That's why I was like,
oh yes. Yeah, he's cognizant of that fact now.
Okay. So why that's a tip? It's because later on it might matter. You may want to see them on. You never know what's going to happen. But for the most part, this crew is nervous and jumpy enough as is. But by nervous and jumpy, I'm not talking that you can discern. It's not anything but they're here for a kill.
Mm-hmm.
You get that. There's something supposed to happen, and they've been here probably for a while stewing, waiting. But you brought into the house. There is nothing fancy about getting into this house. It's you open the door. Santos is there. Will chuckle as these guys basically escort you in. And if you don't move immediately, you do get shoved. is what happens. Is they're there, and once you get shoved inside, Santos is like, "Thanks, I appreciate it." And the guy's just sort of like, "Yeah, cool," and just that's it. And she slams the door in their face, right? Like, "Okay, we're in now. We appreciate it." And you're inside. She'll kind of direct you, turn you around, and go further in. There's a living room. You can see there's gentle furniture set up, and what I mean probably came with the house. They bought it. Looks a little raggedy, not well kept, like not run down, but this is not what you expect Kevin Jackson to be in. Looks like a cozy 5-bedroom home that somebody wanted to keep all the furniture intact and nice, just not the Park Avenue style that you have grown accustomed to Kevin Jackson doing, a lot of flash. However, you can see Kevin Jackson. He's standing up by the fireplace that's unlit. He's just staring over in the corner. His eyes are normal, nothing weird. Typically, that's him, right? Brown, bald, staring in your direction. Damien, though, is nearby, and you can see Warren's in a chair, staked currently. And Damien will look at you and kind of sneer. And Kevin Jackson will put a hand on Damien's shoulder as he goes to walk away from him, as if maybe he knows something of the Damien's posture that you didn't pick up on. And you got something. This is Kevin Jackson. He'll just tell you, you can take a seat or stand. I don't give a fuck at this point, but you got something you want to tell me?
He'll stay standing at that point, his hands to his side, respectfully, and he'll say, whatever it is that Warren has committed.
Kevin Jackson raised his hand. I didn't fucking ask you anything about Warren. I said you have something to tell me.
He'll nod once. He's like, "Yes, my liege. I believe it is worth letting you know that during our investigations, we have found out that the one who was formerly known as Critias, Primogen Critias, had not been taken over by the Sabbat. Rather, I should say, had not been taken over by the Anarchs. Originally, I believed it to be Riot, and the reason why was because a certain kindred had called me up to let me know that apparently it was an Anarch motion. During my investigations, I come to find out it is not an Anarch motion, but that the kindred who did end up calling me is most likely Sabbat. And that the situation I had been placed in had caused a lot of suspicion upon myself and my coterie. We are now looking to find out where that particular kindred and the remaining Sabbat members were. I have very strong reason to believe as well that there may or may not be a mole within those in this coterie. And we've been put to task to see if I could find out where that mole is and put an end to this.
Damien will look at KJ, and KJ will just nod his head once. As for you, I would like you to make a very valiant effort here, as I need you to roll your strength and brawl, sir.
Yes, sir.
If you're resisting Damien.
Strength and brawl, if I'm resisting Damien. I am not going to resist Damien.
Okay. You will take 4 sustained, as the jab is blindingly fast. It is a blow that is enough to not just ring your bell, but you could feel that if you were not dead, the swelling would be significant and something gave way.
Mm-hmm.
You're not certain what. There's few punches in your life you're ever going to receive, DJ, and I hope you never do receive this. But sometimes somebody is powerful enough to hit you where you know you're going to lose. Their punch just doesn't just hurt, it's demoralizing, is what this is. Because not only was it faster than you had an adjustment to get your hands up, you're on your ass by the time he takes a step back. And you just see him just sort of swinging his hand around like, ooh, tougher than he looks. And you'll hear KJ. I could let you talk all that yay all night long, or you can get to business and tell me what the fuck I know you want to tell me.
My son has been converted by the Sabbat. I have tried to keep him from being found in an attempt to keep him alive. But that's no longer feasible.
You'll see Santos pull out what looks to be a straight razor, and she'll go, I could just start cutting in. And Beam's like, I got this. We want to run our mouth, right, Sullivan? That's cool. Let's keep playing games. You can roll your straight brawl this time, as you can know, Damien, before you even get up, is about to come over and do something to you.
No, he'll take the next hit.
Okay. It's another 3 sustained. The difference is here is that it's 2 blows, right? This time he doesn't tempt speed. He wants you to resist, and you get that. Part of the bullying aura that he's trying to cultivate here is not only can you not do anything, he wants to show off. Again, you get the same feel you had from the people who escorted you into the house. They're putting on a show for those who are watching him. You feel Damien is showing Kevin Jackson just as much something here in what he's doing as what you're suffering. But what Damien does is that he does pick you up, but it is to deliver 2 sound blows to the chest. Both will crack a rib. And at this point, I do need you to make a resolve composure roll.
You got it. Thank God for fortitude. Otherwise, he'd be destroyed. 1 second, making that roll now. No buenos.
Okay. So at this time, as obviously Frenzy does what it's supposed to do, what I need you to do is to give me 1 roll of strength brawl. We'll do it in 3, actually. We'll see how this goes. No, I'm not going to do that because the outcome here is pretty telling, especially as far as you're already injured. Go ahead and give me a strength brawl roll. We'll see where it is. Add 2 dice due to Frenzy. My call on that because it's unexpected.
You got it. Three successes.
Okay. For the edification, maybe Warren, because you are propped in the chair and can see this, Sullivan sinks his thumb into the eye of Damien immediately as his fangs distend, and he's screaming at him as Damien is forced to pick him up and slam him on the ground repeatedly. And that's his recourse. Damien just picks him up, slams him, picks him up, and slams him again. And when the blows start, it's impressive to see that Damien has enough control of himself to back up with that eye missing. And you can tell he wants to let go. But again, maybe there's something to Jackson being in the room in front of Damien that stays his hand. But you will be torpid by the time this wrath is done, felt, and exuded that you possess to show up there for the moment. And that'll be that for the moment. You guys are outside of the van maybe about 2-3 minutes. And those kids will make it back to the van. I say that because we already know they're younger. And as they're sitting waiting, they have the guns out, not pointing at you guys in the van in the back. However, it's interesting that they don't shut the door once they open it as they get back. It's as if they're waiting to be told what and who. And you'll hear the shout before anything else. And you know Santos's voice as well. It says, we want Slappy. Bring him up.
Slappy just like shakes his head and he whispers like, God damn it. And then he fucking starts moving through the van to get out. And yeah, he'll head inside or follow them, whatever happens.
You get escorted up, and they don't stick a gun in your face. You know, it's just like you're getting out, walking, and you don't, by your understanding of role player, you're just sort of like, yeah, I guess I gotta, sucks, right? As you're walking, they're like, yeah, okay. Whereas Sully had a pride to him, like, you ain't gonna get me when I ain't feeling nothing. When you already know that this sucks, I'm going with it. They're like, all right, cool. We just gotta, there's the doorman, they'll open it. Santos will chuckle as they're there. This time they seem a bit more realistic as they let you go in. And however, the smell of blood hits you immediately as you have those, I'm assuming, nervous tension immediately. You can see Sullivan is not in pieces or anything, but he is busted up and not moving. He looks like he's broken floorboards. He's half in, lying on the ground, as it was wood flooring in here. And Sullivan's not moving. Busted up, broken pretty good. You see Damien's there. His shirt's covered in blood. His eye is just now healing back as he's sitting there and his fangs are out. And you'll see Kevin Jackson calmly standing just past him, again by the fireplace.
Slappy will look around at the at Warren and then at Sullivan and then look at KJ and then be like, should I sit or stand? What you want?
You're Kevin Jackson. You can stand. And you can also tell me a story. You got something you want to tell me?
He'll like nervously like look at look at Sullivan like just torpid on the ground and then back at Kevin Jackson and be like, look, man, I don't know what Sullivan told you or what Warren told you, but yeah, I mean, there's some shit going down in the city and I don't even know where to begin. I
I told you, you have something you want to tell me.
Slappy will swallow hard and then be like, look, man, I don't know who it is or who even called it, but someone out there wants you dead. And he'll like put his hands up and he'll be like, it ain't me. I don't want you dead. But there's been some people who apparently have requested that we, end you.
Kevin Jackson will get this very somber look on his face for a second. He'll steeple his fingers together briefly just to point at you. You can have a seat.
And Slappy will go ahead and take a seat and sit down. And then he'll be like, you mind if I smoke?
Well, raise an eyebrow. Yeah, because you don't need to. We don't need it.
Yeah. Nervous habit, I guess.
What people?
Look, man, like I said, I don't know which people. I just know that, and he'll like kind of like eyeball Sully. And he'll be like, I just know that the information I've been given has been limited, I guess, for my safety.
Information's been limited for your safety. Well, I'm going to unlimit that information because you're going to die. You get that?
Yeah, I've kind of insinuated that that's the intent here, but I'm trying to help out the best I can.
What you're doing is protecting who told him. Or is it just Sullivan making a ploy? Either way, all of you are involved because you didn't tell me till you were in front of me. What does acknowledgement mean to you? You remember back that far? Came to the city, you were allowed to be made. You got made. We talk about the traditions, came to me. I sat you down on your special night in front of everybody. What does it mean that we go through that prestation?
It means that you acknowledge me as somebody worthy to be within your domain.
That means I acknowledge you as somebody to protect because you will honor the traditions and my right to rule. That I will protect you in all things, that you will protect me because I am the city as much as you were in it.
Flappy will nod his head.
So someone told you to kill me, and you're going to wait till the motherfucking Sabatas, will point to Warren, comes to tell me first?
It looks bad. There ain't any other way to put it. It was one of those, I was told I'd be killed. So it's the damned if you do, damned if you don't situation.
You motherfucker, then you should have killed him. You think I was going to be mad at you for killing someone who told you to come kill me? I mean, if I found out you just killed someone and made an excuse, then yeah, at least you'll put a smile on my face as I execute you publicly. But now we're in a situation. Your group's rotted. You all sideways and don't know which hand you serve. But right now, why don't you tell me who's Prince of Chicago?
And then he'll look up and look KJ directly in the eyes and then be like, "You are."
All right. This is special. This requires your charisma and your your choice. You could try to go with persuasion, or you can say that this is something that you're not necessarily persuading. Maybe you want to use insight instead. Reason being is because you might be trying to say exactly what he wants to hear, and that's insightful, or you're going to straight up try to persuade him the sincerity of your words if you're being sincere.
I would like to use persuasion.
Now, due to backgrounds, your fame helps you here, actually. You are somebody in the city that helped cultivate quite a bit, and he hasn't forgotten that. Plus, you have a connected sire. Lineage matters. Cornelius is a Camarilla member, as you know. And if you remember, Cornelius is also somebody who's been in the, not in the pocket, but has worked with KJ directly in what he had going on. So this is going to afford you 2 dice to this roll. So by my count, that's 8 dice without you doing anything additional.
Yep.
And you're free to do so if you'd like to, by the way. So what happens is that he'll soften a bit when you say it, right? You look him dead in his eye, you are, and he'll nod his head and he'll just be like, look, just sit tight. He'll turn around and look at Damien and say, go get Ramsey. And get him. I ain't made my mind up yet. And Damien will nod. And whether it's a sign of respect or not, when the call for Ramsey's made, Santos doesn't yell this out. She comes walking back. That French guy comes walking with her, and she's like, hey, Ramsey, you're up.
There'll just be, he'll look at her for just like what would be a heartbeat's breath before he slowly stands up and walks. I'm not really looking at the other people. I've heard enough about them to get a gauge of it. But I'm not acting like an asshole about it either.
All right. Is your walking being you? Maybe it's gratifying for him to hear, ain't that motherfucker that killed all them people out in Naperville? Yeah, Naptown, man. That's the Naptown killer.
I'll look at that motherfucker who says that and just smile, fangs extended.
You start saying, yeah, that's that motherfucker, but you get a reaction not expected. As they're like sitting there going, yeah, that's him. Yeah, we ain't in the hospital now, bitch. As you see, they got guns out. He goes, you want to do some people know what's what? What? Get buck, son. Get buck. And they start shouting and yelling. It sounds like you're out on the, like you're walking across the lot in prison, like walking into the big fight. As Santos just shaking her head, he's fucking idiots. And they're bringing you inside. She's like, can you just get in here? She'll shove you, right? Like you get, stop fucking with them, okay? Just bring him in. And the French guy will chuckle. He's like, at least he gets points for style as they enter the house. But you have everybody on the inside there. Rot, fortune smiles on you. Where you're sitting, the door's not shut. There's those 3 kids with guns. There's that whole throng that was outside with him going in. They're like closing ranks in the house. They can like smell the kills coming, is what you believe is happening. As they're like now walking up, like shouting and yelling and screaming like they're about to get something done. The lone Nas sits in the van. Are you doing anything?
This feels like a scenario where the smart Nas would get the hell out. And I'm trying to decide whether or not I'm actually going to do it. There is no coming back from that decision. I feel that the smart thing that Rot would do, he has not had anything going in his favor at all in Chicago. He's going to leave this city for good. I'd like to use what is it? I gotta look at my character sheet and I just realized I scrolled down. I would love to use Unseen Passage right now.
Okay. And do what?
I would love to leave for good.
Okay. You walk out of the van. What are they gonna do? right? You leave, and probably one of the most satisfying things is you walk by, it's a couple seconds, like, hey, where'd he go? Right? As you're walking away, like, ain't nobody in here. And you'll hear this kid, you were keeping watch. They're like, what, you were keeping watch? And he's like, well, how did I let him go? How were all these people? And you'll see him just start this argument, man, shut up and look. Hey, y'all, hey, you'll hear hand stabs, like, one got away. And he starts shouting it across the lawn. Ramsey, you're in there. And the only thing that you can register in your head, one got away. You can draw your conclusions
So when I hear that, like the whole time my attention's been on like first at Damien and then at KJ, but when I hear that, I will like somewhat turn sideways to look out the door, and like I don't know, some growl or something, fangs extended at the door before I put that away and turn back to KJ.
You hear KJ? We didn't even bother to talk between you and me.
I'm sorry, Bob. You will have to say that one more time.
Do we even need to bother to talk between you and me? And so he'll gesture to Sully, torping in the ground, beaten there clearly by Damien.
No.
Warren staked.
No, we don't. You want to know who else? I don't know everyone. I know the big man. The one with the old blood. What was his name? Ballard.
He'll raise an eyebrow.
He didn't tell us to do it. When we woke up, we owed a favor. In addition to that favor, we owed a drink. I don't know how you call it. We had to drink his blood. It wasn't that bad.
I'm probably like, please continue. I didn't mean to trip you up there.
After that, maybe a little bit before that, I can't remember the actual events. They told us we were told to kill you. Sully told us that. Well, not kill you. If I'm being specific to the mission objectives, it was to stake you and retrieve you.
He'll look you up and down as if studying you for a second. Do me a favor. I just need you to roll your composure and your resolve composure. That's it.
Okay, that's not just so bad. That is the very impressive pool. There's no hunger with this, right?
Right.
It's a fucking failure.
But believe it or not, it's one of the rare times you wanted it to fail.
Oh, good.
Because here's why. I'll explain this mechanically so everybody can understand what's going on. Kevin Jackson's astute. He's used to people lying to him. He's very good at setting up situations to understand exactly how they're lying to him and when. Problem is, you're a harmonist.
Mm-hmm.
You don't give a shit to lie. You never have. Anything anybody's directly asked you, you've answered. You've not been deceitful ever, probably one whit since your embrace. And the simple fact is Kevin Jackson's dealing with this very reality right now. You'll see him kind of smile and smirk as if he's shocked for a minute. And it's not like there's a detector, right? Like he's looking at you, he's getting a gauge. It's the way you hold yourself. You're in this room, ain't got a fucking care in the world. Right, as far as he's concerned, you're just kind of lax. Just, look, fat man, events, situations. Hey, they said to do it. And he has no reason to doubt you. And that's why he starts chuckling. He goes, man, you ain't. He'll look at Damien, and Damien is looking at you because he has to. There's that level of respect. And Damien just turned to me and goes, look, man, I told you. Warren said it. I didn't want to have to stake him, but I had to. But you know he told the truth. The only motherfucker who didn't come clean and say what is lying on the ground down here, and I beat his lying ass. I said we kill him and get done with it. And you hear Kevin Jackson coldly tell him, that's why your ass is the sheriff and I'm the prince. You may not think it. My intention was not to kill all of you to bring you out here, but I might have to kill a few of you.
If one of them's rot, I want to kill him.
Oh, you talking about that Nas?
Yeah.
I'll let you know a secret. The Anarchs have been asking for his head for a long time. I make a phone call. That's a reality.
I guess there's a queue.
The cue's simple. Traitors die. They die screaming. That's going to happen no matter where you're at. I don't know what's going on. I'm about to, though. He'll gesture to Damien, and Damien will unstake Warren. And Warren, Damien will straighten out your shirt as best he can. It's kind of comical. He's like, man, I'm sorry.
Hey, bro, I think I got a few dollars left for another one. I ain't checked the accounts in a while, but
No, that's good. We straight. And KG will just stand there laughing, and he'll put his hands out. So it's true then. Someone told Sully to kill me, and you said it's Ballard.
I don't know if it's just him. I do know he was involved. There was we were woken up by a slaughterhouse. I'll give him like the address of the area. Fed pig's blood to get us
He'll hold
back
his
up.
hand up. Oh, I'm aware.
Huh. All right.
That address got tapped. I know where Bill's going. I know where I wasn't invited. Whoever went there wanted me to know they were meeting, and I just wouldn't know who, and it's a meeting that was had behind my back. Now I know why. So Ballard set me up. Said y'all was supposed to come kill me. I guess he the one that killed Critias too?
That I don't know. I'll look at Warren. One of our old pack was harassing Sully, we think. Sully thinks his son was somehow involved with Critias, which makes me think that our old pack was involved with Critias. I don't have.
How does son be involved? How?
His son was embraced.
He embraced his son?
Not Sully, our old pack.
you
The
see
surrogate?
Warren be like, what?
The one called the surrogate. He and Tom didn't finish the school, but they apparently didn't leave Chicago or came back at some point.
I'm gonna put it to you like this. Ain't no ultimatum. If I want you dead, I'll just fucking kill you. I ain't got to wait for it. This piece of shit Sullivan and I are about to have that chat. I hate that's gonna be that way between me and him, but we gotta have that chat. And that's how it is. But you guys have one choice. I don't care what you thought you had to do. We're gonna make this real simple for you. I do my own dirt. I don't need you to do it for me. But you're gonna carry your own weight. You came here with sacks of shit. It's that simple. They came in and I gave them a chance. They could have been sitting where you are. They decide to leave, cut tail, and run. You know them. Find them. You a hunter, right? There's some scout. That's what my dossier said. You know what it is. You know what they're about. You share blood with them. You hunt them down. You hunt Rot. You hunt those two. You kill the Sabat that brought you in. I'll give you the same motherfucking deal the Somber got from the Camarilla. You kill them, I won't kill you too. Because I'll have to kill you. Understand that. If they're going to put it to you to come kill me, I ain't got no choice. And let me correct that. I'll kill you, Ramsey. Warren here was Chicago born first. I'll give that to him. He proved his loyalty. Out of all you, he's the one who came and told me. Manned up and told, even followed protocol. Asked the sheriff what to do. Conflicted. He said straight up what you told me, Ramsey, and I can appreciate that honesty. But that proves him to me. I can vouch for him. I want to vouch for you. You told me clean, you told me straight, but you also someone that's a right risk of the masquerade. Now, media can fool a lot of idiots left and right. Killers know killers. We know right through that shit. We knew what you did when you did it. The trick was finding you. Eventually you'd pop up, and when you did, we got to do something. By rights, I should have you executed. That'd be the smart move, but let's just say I didn't get where I am by doing what's expected of me. I also got enough wisdom in my head to understand it's not going to be easy to kill someone like you either. I mean, to me, it's just assets. It cost me something. Maybe some men, maybe not. Maybe Damien here could do a number on you and that be that. In fact, I'm confident in that fact. But why waste an asset? The way I see it, the people who put you at risk are the people you got to deal with. But I'm willing to negotiate and offer a bonus. There's a simple Ventru rule. If I go and kill Ballard, he's a primogen of standing. What I offer you is a gambit. It's a risky one. What I need you to do, you Gangrel don't have an allegiance to the Camarilla. You don't. You are here independently, which means on your own too. If you give Ballard the same graces he was offering me, extract from him who put him up to it. You can perform that task. We'll consider it even. Water under the bridge. Now, why say my own dirt? As much as a prince can, his standing protects him from any official hunt or such nonsense. But again, a prince handles after the fact. There's no such thing as preventative measures when it comes to the traditions. If you kill him, it is violating the right of destruction. You will have killed the primogen of the Ventru Council. That's going to, or the primogen council is going to have ramifications if it's known. If he goes missing, it's a terrible loss to the city. And we wish Ballard well, but after all, there have been elders answering a call to go to a war or to the east for some reason. What's that shit called again? And you hear Santos, the calling? The phone call? I don't know. And Damien's like, it's the beckoning, man. Yeah, KJ will look at you. I don't feel nothing. Any of y'all been beckoned?
Nah.
Yeah, sounds some convenient bullshit to me, but I'll use it. Ballard's been a pain in my ass for a hot minute, but he an elder, and he definitely older than me. Well, when you hear from you, Ramses, that's a done deal. If that's a done deal, you can walk out of here. I don't have to kill your ass.
I'll get that from Ballard.
You know, I wouldn't say do it except for one thing. You told me up front he tried to bind you.
The blood bond. The drink of your blood, you're tied to him. What the Sabbat do breaks that at the high degree, but the lower levels still work.
You'll see him smile. Does it? So wait a minute. You get bound?
Not fully.
Nah, bro. Warren's laughing too, by the way.
How many times he have you drink?
I'll look at Warren. We drank once. I think we were supposed to do 2, and we just never did the second.
We was told we was gonna have to come back for 2.
Oh yeah.
You know how it is.
I'll just point at Warren. Yeah, we're supposed to go for a second.
So you well, I guess you gotta obey a primogen then, don't you?
Of course. It would be rude not to. I had to think of the word.
We gotta make this official then. I'm gonna make you both a hound of mine. That's how this works. Now, I don't know who put you up to it or who put Ballard up to it, or you know what? I wouldn't put it past him. He hasn't been earning as much money as he'd like to maintain that lofty status of his. I've seen it on the wire. I just didn't say nothing. It's getting harder and harder for me to do things to keep that on a lid on it, but there ain't no point. He's faltering. When you have a pillar that stumbles, you got to replace it. Otherwise, we ain't stable. That's all this is business. I won't treat it as personal, but understands why he's making a move for the princedom. If he can move up, let's just say there's certain things he could do then that he can't do right now. Either way, that's that. That's the call. Make it happen. You agree? There ain't no point to a blood bond. I can't do that, clearly. Typically, that would be the response, right? Some shit like this. But I'm going to take you at a word. Real simple. It doesn't seem like you to cat the lie anyway, Ramsey and Warren. What the fuck am I going to do? Have you fuck me to prove your loyalty? I think that's a bit ridiculous at this point.
I appreciate your consideration under the circumstances.
Yeah, all right. Well, it's simple enough. I'll put the word out. Santos, she'll look up. We ain't killing nobody. Night's still young. As he'll, KJ will walk over and grab Sullivan by his head, by the hair, pick him up to put him in the seat Warren was in. This another matter. Rest of y'all get the fuck out of here.
I'll grab the stake that was in Warren. Oh, actually, no, I won't. Whatever. We're gonna do this a different way. I'm just gonna walk out behind Warren.
Wait. Hey, Doc. Recognize you being the prince and all. You might have thought of this. Sullivan go missing. Never mind. I'll walk out.
No, he'll hold his hand up. Finish your thought. What? Sullivan goes missing. What?
Well, if they send Sullivan to tell us to do something to you, and we still walking around, but Sullivan is mysteriously off the table,
Kevin Jack, he'll look away. Damn. And Davey will smirk. Well, KG's not looking. Davey will walk over and like get a fist bump from you. Yeah, dear Damien. So, boss, what we could do is like, let's just keep this on the up and up. I mean, real at this point, we made a point, right? Sullivan, you had me stomp a mud hole in him, but he ain't loyal, man. His ass lied out of four sides of his mouth to you right here. He did everything but say what he had to come clean on. Because he's sweating Ballard. Now, Ballard ain't a joke. I understand that, but maybe Sullivan is bound. He ain't Sabat either. And you'll see KJ snap around. I don't give a fuck if he is bound. I don't care how loyal you are. If you're bound by slavery, you ain't in front of him right now. You can tell me true. Yeah, but like, they'll do that for a second, and KJ's like, look, he's right. I can't kill him. Not now. Go handle that part with Ballard, but more importantly than him, because you have time to pull that trigger, those loose ends, the Sabat you came here with, they got to go. And any Sabat you find. That's the deal. Go figure that out. Take that sack of shit with you as well, and I promise you, you let him know he's dead. He's going to die. It's how does he want to die? Now, he can leave. That's up to him. Take a kind of quiet banishing and never show up again. So be it. He could stick around and wait for the night I decide to take his life. He can go crawling back to Ballard and whatever else you want to do. Point is, him and Ballard are done. He had his chance to prove his loyalty. He didn't.
He'll know. And we'll make sure.
I'll scoop Sullivan up in a old-fashioned fireman's carry and head out.
To not ignore him, Ramsey will turn to look at Slappy.
Slappy is kind of like has this fedora like lowered over his head, like covering his eyes up a little. At this point, just kind of waiting to leave, because at this point he feels like he just doesn't want to bring attention to himself, so he's trying to act as non-discreet, like as discreet as possible, just waiting to be excused.
It works, right? It's KJ doesn't do anything. It's weird. You guys just hear he's just the steepled fingers, the gestures of flippancy. They're not there. This is a guy who was ready to get his hands dirty. He was. It's just Damien was not going to let him if he could help it. But seeing as there's not anything to do now at this point, and he seems really upset he's not killing Sullivan. But hand was stayed expertly by Warren's advice. He just lets you go. It's more or less like Slappy's like, yeah, man, go on. I already said nothing was going to happen to you. You tell Cornelius I remember him.
Slappy will nod and be like, of course.
And that's it. You gotta prince the lot in his mind. And you've unloaded on him and he has to eat. But as you guys head out, you will see that Warren, you carrying to everybody else, he's dead. And you know that. Walking outside, them seeing in that state, they're like, you'll start hearing him, KJ, 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 start shooting a couple rounds in the air. Everybody's chanting and cheering and whatnot as you're carrying that guy out. And like apparently they think he's dead. It's as far as they know. You know the truth to it, but it's enough to kind of sell the show for why they're here, or maybe he's just been here for a bit. And that's the circumstance. But you guys get back outside, and true to her word, you wonder just how long she had those keys, or when she'd fucking send back for them, or whatever. But you guys will find that your cars are here. Unfortunately for Rod, we were walking away. You said you're leaving. I took that at your word that you were getting the hell out of here. There was no sticking around to see how this swan song played out. You were gone and got. It didn't matter what driving or anything else you saw here. It is also real easy out here remotely to be where you're at. You're in some suburb. You'll get that. You'll walk for maybe half a mile before you start seeing an actual subdivision, see where that is. Some streets you don't know, like you don't know what a Snow Bluff Road is, or what, like how many Snow Bluff Roads could there possibly be in the world? A lot, right? Although Snail Hill Drive is something you'll pass, and eventually you'll get to a sign of okay, I can at least hide out in a hotel and figure out my next move to get the next ride out of here. I.e., with your connections, if your character wanted to disappear and leave, you can. And that's what you called out for. It's a simple thing to do that. And Mr. Vicelli, that's not an easy decision to make. I can say at this point, I'll accept the SPC of a very good character for Rot to decide I got to get when the getting's good, and at least I don't have to face off against a Nictaku now, which seems to be a winning scenario here for the moment. As we're gonna hold that there at least for this moment. I still want to say thank you, Mr. Vicelli, for that. I understand it's a tough call, but that's to me that's sound reasoning. Back at the ranch, though, for you guys getting there, seeing the cars get rolled up where you're at, they're not treating you like heroes. They make those chants. I'm assuming you got Sullivan. You're gonna leave him in the front of a car, put him in a car, your car.
I'll take the keys to Rot's car, and we're gonna put Sully in the trunk of Rot's car.
Okay.
Makes sense to me. Yeah. Me and Slap would take the other one. Just so we don't leave any cars behind.
So tell me what folks are doing. You're driving away. You're getting out here. For those in the know, your remote destination of where you've been, you are out in Bartlett is where you're at. That's what it says. Like where you get to the street signs and whatnot to get in, much different than what you call it, Rot. You'll see street signs that do point towards the city, right? You'll see a familiar highway eventually because you're in a car, you're moving a lot faster, kind of getting that going. And where it is, it's not like this Nowheresville. It's just people out here have nicer homes, right? Then when it comes to that, not all over the place, but it's either nicer homes or it's real remote or just not a whole lot going on development wise to make this a more exciting suburb, like maybe a suburb closer to the city. You guys might even know the names, but like Schiller Park is one because it's right next to O'Hare.
Mm-hmm.
A lot more to do and things connected there for that. But long story short, it is not far for you to head back, right? It's about 45 minutes directly from a drive to the city. Enough time to talk, think, and whatever. But where are we headed?
I guess I'll call the other car.
Well, you could just meet up too. I'm assuming people are following folk. Like if he's driving, right, you're going where you're at. So just where you guys are going to stop at least to get gas and talk or whatever.
Yeah, we'll stop to get gas. I know freaking Rot's car was almost empty.
Right.
So as we're filling up, we'll huddle the three of us here. Look, I told KJ that at least I, if not the rest of us, would tell Sully what fate has in store for him. I don't know if you want to tell him that before or after we get what we need from Ballard. I'll look at Warren. I'll leave that to you. Contacts either of you, let me know. I'm going to kill him. If the Anarchs don't first.
Seems fair. I wasn't expecting that one. I gotta say, I wasn't expecting that one.
He never had Valdry with us. But still, I didn't either.
He's the least suspicious. Whatever.
Slappy's like, oh,
go ahead.
Oh, Slappy's gonna like kind of like put his hands up and be like, so wait. So what is it y'all need to get from Ballard? What was it?
What? Who else was Ballard working with? Why did he put Sully up to this? Was it just to be Prince?
Gotcha. I missed. There was a disconnect once we started talking about the right of destruction. I just wanted to make sure that I was on the same page.
To be clear, we can't kill Ballard. There is nothing about anything he owns or anything he's bound.
We can't kill Ballard. We can't kill Ballard.
He's just staring straight at you. What are you talking about?
Listen, man, KJ doesn't give a fuck if we kill Ballard. He cares if people know we killed Ballard. So if we have to kill Ballard, I guarantee you, I'm not going to let him take advantage of me. Sound like what the man wanted was information. If Ballard will, for some reason, talk, great.
I was talking about threatening to kill one of his really well-trained ghouls. He seems to care about those. Or at least Sully did. I'm assuming he does, too.
That's kind of funny. I don't know if he cares that much.
Or we just skin him. There's a lot of skin there. It could take a while.
Yeah, right. Is there any chance that Tom and the Surrogate don't know where we sleep?
Don't know. They knew where Sully's son was, at least, where he went to college. At least I think so. I don't actually know that's it. It just makes sense to me.
Okay. Bob, can I pull up my phone and see if I have any money left? Because I know that my supply has been just trickling. I haven't been able to be myself on the internet.
You haven't been able to be yourself.
On this topic, actually, it's worth noting that when you guys pulled up to the gas station, Ramsey popped the trunk and took out Sully's wallet and used his credit card to pay for the gas.
That's the coldest thing I've heard in a long time about having.
Damn.
It's fucked up.
This is all right though. Yes, your funds are dwindling. Do you still have some? By my count, it depends on what you're trying to do with it.
Basically, an emergency shelter, perhaps a hotel room.
Yeah, absolutely.
That kind of thing. Okay.
Yep.
I was just checking to see if that was
a good solid 2 months that you could be in a hotel.
Well, in my opinion, fellas, while we figure it out, we definitely don't need to go back anywhere we've ever been.
Guys, I don't mean to be rude, of course. I mean, we've been through a lot together, but I'm not a hound. Just to put that out there. I got kung fu movies to go see with my brother now. I honestly thought I was gonna die. So I don't know, man. Obviously I'll help you any way I can, but I mean, they ain't fucking with me. And if you want my advice, and he'll point to the trunk, he'll be like, Sully's the missing piece, because he's been sketchy about this whole thing ever since it started.
Yeah, venture shit. They're like that. Look, man, if you don't want to get your hands dirty, like it sounds like we're gonna have to do, now is the time to say that. I appreciate what you done, I guess. But as you heard from the man, we don't. Me and Ramsey don't have a choice about this. This is our new occupation.
And Slappy will just be like, kind of thinking for a moment, and he'll look down and he'll be like, well, shit, I guess I can't. Be like, no, I can't. And he's like, kind of having that internal conflict, and he's like, man, with those monsters running around, I guess I can't know that my brother's safe. They fucked with Sully already. I've just been waiting for them to try and fuck with me.
Your brother, your club, anybody you ever been seen with in public, let me tell you something. Me and Ramsey have done things with these men that we're not going to talk about today.
Thank you. I'd rather you didn't.
But they are nothing if not thorough. I say you're better off with us than you are elsewhere. But also, we might die tomorrow, so your mileage may vary.
And Slappy will just kind of like, and then be like, fuck it. We've gone this far together, I guess.
Or just give you the fist, waiting for some dap. Just
like reluctantly, like kind of like when your nephew like asks for like, and you're like, okay.
Just like, sure. Well, I'll make a reservation and then we'll figure out next steps. I'm gonna start tapping away on my phone, trying to figure out where we're gonna sleep.
It's easy enough. I invite you to Google for as much of the Chicagoland offering of hotels you would like to have.
You got it.
Excuse me. There's definitely up and up on you. How I have to say, that's too funny. Yes, Fred Chard, 5.5 months later, finally success. Yes, still doesn't answer what we're doing in the trunk with a Sullivan here. If we're doing anything.
Yeah, I'm gonna wake him up. Is what it's gonna be once we find a place to lay low. Once that's
now, seeing as it's the night after, I hate to point it out that there is a place. You know of a place. There is a ample supply of blood, and there was a U-Haul.
Oh yeah, that just seems
fucking slaughterhouse.
It's at this point where Ramsey kind of stops and he just looks up into the sky for a minute as if he's contemplating something. Probably if the Harmonists have any concept of karma, and if not, I might just add it in there because we are going there and we are doing that.
Unless anybody's opposing.
I mean, I will just point out, I'm not saying we're not going because it might be funny, but you know he might not be able to drink none of that shit, right?
You better buckle up, Buttercup. I don't know what to tell you.
All right. I'm just saying they fancy, you know. Yeah, let's boogie.
He can slim it.
So going with the old adage, what's good for the goose is good for the gander, or equality amongst pig drinkers. We have something going on here, right? Something special. You guys go back to the slaughterhouse, and as you can expect, no, there is not a standing U-Haul truck there with buckets of blood, right? Obviously, to go, the stuff has to happen. It doesn't mean you don't know that's a slaughterhouse, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, matter of getting inside. You guys were inside. Do I have to mince words about Ramsey's ability to break into places? Do we have to revisit that a little bit? What I can tell you, Ramsey, it's up to you how you want to break into here, but you absolutely can break into here. It's what you do.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what we're going to utilize here?
It absolutely is.
It seems silly, but ironically, nobody is looking to put anything more than your standard alarm on the windows and doors, right, of this, or the doors of this place. The windows are not a concern because this place isn't designed to have flimsy windows and you have access to the house. Right? It's a warehouse, at least in setup. What you do is go to the back, climb up on top, go over, and even if you weren't kindred, a solid crowbar, some time working up here, you knew you're not going to be interrupted with noise. You manage to wiggle and mess with this vent that's up top. And when I say vent, you assume it might be something to do with the heating and cooling duct, right? It hums and makes noise, or at least it did, until you wiggle it. You're able to wedge it a bit, lift it a few feet to the left, about say 2 or 3, and there's a space and a gap that you could drop down in there and gain access inside. All in all, about 2.5 hours of you, moving this thing, doing enough damage to get in the inside, to then crawl through, bust through the ceiling of this place. Yeah, you can go to the back door and open the door. Why you can open the door from the back of the inside, you're taking a gamble. You don't really care if it's true or not, but your assumption is if they use this after hours, and it wasn't too long ago, what are the odds you can still just go in this place?
Mm-hmm.
And it's no big deal. And you do that test, you would be correct. You're not 100%, but you're not certain if this place ever had security on it for that reason. I will give this to you. This would be an easy place to dispose of remains if you were a sheriff. Right? Maybe that's really the focus and usage of this place to begin with. You wonder if maybe somebody had a little extra special long pig in their sausage a couple minutes out of here. A little Vienna special beef label, nobody would question it, right? Just sometimes it's off, right? Regardless, you open the door, you're able to get Sullivan inside. And these facilities, they do slaughter animals here in its entirety, but that does include that they have bio-waste pickup. What that means is that the blood that comes off the animal, they don't wash in the water or anything like that. They got to pay to have it carried away and the whole nine. That you do have access to those coolers. This is not drinkable blood as much as it is chewable, but you assume some of the sluice runoff still works there. Want to be nice? You can kind of warm it up in a bucket a little bit, see if you can get it thinning out.
No.
Nah.
Hell no.
Give him the chunks.
He's getting the chunks. You know, DJ, I don't know what level of hatred you've instilled in this group, but I'm beginning to get an idea. There's a, all right, silence is its own reward there too. I was just doing a test right there. I was like, hey, you all right, DJ? And I'm hearing quiet. All right. It's going to happen that way. Excuse me. Anyway, any rate, how are we going to do it? We just going to shove his head in a bucket? Hope he enjoys?
Nope. We don't need his clothes any more fucked up than they are. I'm gonna take his shirt and jacket off. You know, at least strip him to the waist, because this is probably gonna be messy.
Oh, and take the jacket off.
Yeah. You thought I said, "Oh my God!"
Look, it's the way I heard words. Okay, I was like, "What?" All right, we're good. You are forcing me pig blood. I don't know what sort of a friend you are, but cares about. All right.
I'm trying to preserve as much of Sullivan's suit as is left.
You got it. Let's see. We check out here some stuff here, Sullivan. We know you're not the king of humanity around these parts. Sufficient. We do have problems with this, though. I have to make a roll call on that right quick, won't I? DJ, are you there?
I am.
Okay. I'm going to say, due to the state of being, survival being what it is, such a typical. So I'm going to have you give me a resolve composure roll. However, we're going to take away 2 dice here. We're going to count this as circumstantial. What I mean by that is, I'm not exactly rolling to see if you're coming out of torpor. It's how long you keep the blood down that you're getting before you have to slake your special taste. But it will be enough to wake you.
3 successes.
Yeah, so what happens is you can feel that you're going to vomit. You're going to expel this blood. This is not the blood you need. But it's enough to take it down at least 1 hunger, although it's an entire bucket that you went hog wild at it once you smelt it. And you've been more chewing this. It's if you had Jell-O that clings to the teeth, it gets in between, right? It kind of just coats and you've been choking it down. The idea that more blood would come if you just chewed enough through it is what your character was going on, right? So what Sullivan was using to get through, and then realizing what it is, there's revulsion And then the beast corroborates as this is not your due, right? Is you want to get this out right now. But you manage to hold decorum down for the moment as you're looking at everybody else around you, and you're aware of the damage you still have on you. That didn't magically go away. And it's because you can't fully, obviously, slake your hunger the way you need to for it. The beast demands are great at this point. However, it doesn't stop you from healing now. You did have a hunger level before you went in that you can now use to treat those wounds and do what you got to do.
I will attempt to do so. Well, I guess I could attempt to up to 3 times.
I would say let's do our old tried and true. In terms of your hunger's at what right now?
2.
What I would do is I would roll it in 3s until you start seeing failures knock them off. See what I'm saying?
Okay. Understood. So roll 3 of them at the time.
You got it.
Nope, I put 3.
So now you're rolling 2 dice. Yeah, how that works. So you healed 3, but now your hunger's down by 1.
Right.
But now you're only rolling 2 dice for as you go. You know what I mean? You get what I'm saying. It increases.
Yes.
You get dice to roll. Thank you.
I am turbo hungry now. I am at hunger 4.
Yep. And this is where we ironically stop, right? Because survival's of an essence, right? What we're pointing out here is that as you get hungry, there's less blood involved. The beast knows enough. You don't need to top off if you're functional, and you're there. That sharp pain of hunger, though, that's what your resolve composure was, to stop you from hurling out that good. So where you're in a blind frenzy, but you're painfully hungry as you guys see his wounds healing. So maybe to you guys, you feel the pig's blood work. You won't know the truth of that. However, it definitely looks like he's savagely hungry. You've not seen Sullivan like this.
Well, looks like eat first and then talk.
As he sloughs more in his face, he just has this really dark look to his eyes as he looks over the 3 of you. More.
Yeah. I don't think we should take you for a walk. You guys want me to go get food, or how are we going to do this exactly?
Rest up, like we used to. It'd be messy, but we can get rid of whatever mess is made, rip it apart, throw it out one piece at a time as we go down the highway miles at a time, or you can bring it back and that's less messy. This is a slaughterhouse, as he'll hold out his arms and like kind of look around.
Yeah. Somebody's gonna die tonight. Okay. Sure, rest stop, opposite direction of Chicago. Try to avoid cameras. Fuck.
He'll stand up angrily and he'll kick the fucking bucket over. He's like, do you even know what it is that I eat?
Nope. But you
So
could
you're going to
always
slaughter someone without knowing what I eat.
What do you eat, Sully?
I'm still alive.
I mean, you can
Why am I
always
still
finish
alive?
off the hogs, my man. We'll wait,
Flappy will like put his hands up and be like, let's just check. Sully, what do you eat? Maybe somebody doesn't have to die tonight. Huh? That's an alternative.
You just see Warren do the classic Warren arms cross and wait.
Ramsey just kind of leans over at Warren. He'll learn.
No. Go ahead. What is your preferred aperitif?
You could go to the Blue Velvet. I still have vintages there I could pick from.
I see. And will they serve us on your word?
I'm still alive, so I guess so.
No,
Why
no,
am
no.
I still alive? What's going on?
You're still alive because I convinced in a moment of insight the prince not to fucking kill you.
And it all comes crashing in.
Anyway, Will they
What
serve
does the
us
prince
for
know?
you? Okay, fuck it.
Hey, despite his hunger, he could choke that back to get his machinations going. That's all I'm saying.
The prince knows everything, Sully.
He'll simply aim for his clothes and he'll take it and he'll walk over to where the hose is and try getting some of the gelatinous, the coagulated blood off his chest and mouth as best as possible.
Ironically, on the inside of the building, it's a lot easier to get rid of messes, right? You got the pressure hoses, you got the cleaning systems they got here. Do a pretty good job. If you don't mind soap clothes, chemical.
He'll at least make himself look halfway presentable. I'm very hungry. I don't know what's going on. I'm still alive. Why am I still alive? Then he'll sit back down on the like a tiled bench.
Nah, like Warren ain't lying. He legit saved your life. Like KJ was gonna like kill you before Warren's piped up and was like, yo, we still need him. Like, it'd be weird if we were walking around without you. So you should thank Warren, because he is literally the only reason you're still standing.
Wait. Before you thank me, the reason you're still alive is because KJ agreed with me that it would be weird for us to be trying to kill Ballard while our only venture.
We're not killing him. He said don't kill him.
He did say don't kill him. I'm sorry. I just don't trust people when they say stake him or
I know what
he
you
could
said. He
disappear.
didn't say stake. He just said get info out of him.
Why?
Apparently, primogens can't be killed. It looks bad for the prince. So he said. I'm not gonna lie. We've had a lot of people telling us what to do for a long time now, and I've not really given a shit.
I'm just making sure the mic was working.
What happened?
There was an additional part to that. I
Oh,
want to
no.
make sure. I think Warren heard it. I'm not certain if Brennan heard it.
I didn't then.
Okay. So what he had said was a primogen can't just be killed. But, right? What was the but? Do you remember, Warren?
Yeah, the but was if he were to happen to disappear,
It would
unfortunate for the city.
You got it. I'm not certain if Brennan was capable to pick up on
Oh,
that, but that was exactly as delivered.
Look, I've been in like Ramsey mode for a minute. It's sort of like airplane mode for a phone. You kind of shut down some of your like complicated thinking. So Ramsey, well, he'll continue saying that, right? It looks bad for the print, and then he'll do a double take to Warren. Like what?
Like Ramsey, what he said was, we can't kill Ballard. But if Ballard were to happen to not be in Chicago anymore, that would be unfortunate.
We're not
Gosh
killing
darn.
Ballard.
I liked him a lot better when he was being blunt, but okay. And why aren't we, Sully?
We just can't.
No,
He's
there's no we just can't. There's no following you blindly anymore. You made a deal to kill the prince. He is the strongest.
Whoa, I never
kindred.
said anything about killing a prince. Let's start
Stake
off
him,
with that
prince,
already.
whatever. You're deflecting, and I'm done with it. He's
I
the
told you there was
strongest
a bigger
kindred in the
power.
city. The people
He is
backing
not
him
the
are
strongest
stronger.
kindred in the city. I have seen the strongest kindred in the city. I have stayed in a room with all of them. I've seen them walk out with the fucking Sequid Inquisition. Don't you goddamn tell me you've seen the strongest kindred in the city.
I like Resolve Composure. I love it, especially when we're hinged. You can bother not to roll it. You can just frenzy if you'd like. There is that.
He'll try to. He can't. He'll blow
There
up
you
if he has otherwise.
For what it's worth, we'll let that go. As is for the moment. It is barely controlled. It's dangerous to have this discussion with them so hungry. That alone, Ramsey, you can get that. You've been there.
Yeah.
Poor kindred.
It's
So
a
sorry.
first and talk.
Plus, I got to add the actual genuflection of what the pig blood's doing. He's like, "You son of a you," You think he's choking it down, right? Trying to have
Spittle just comes out.
While he's after he says I need food, Slappy's just gonna be like, so then who is the strongest kindred in the city? You said you've seen him.
Fellas. The strongest kindred in the city is who the city says the strongest kindred is.
That's not always true.
Which is what KJ is worried about. And it's what we were worried about a day ago. Right? KJ is not that much older than me, if he's older at all. But he's the prince. Come on, man.
He'll sit down and he'll put his hands on his shoulder, or rather on his head. The strongest kindred in the city did not go away. They thought he was dead. Do you know who was the prince before him?
Forget his name.
His name is Prince Loden. Just because he is not the title of current prince does not mean that he is not the strongest kindred in the city. I've witnessed that power in front of me. Do you think I would just take on a suicide mission to say get rid of Prince Jackson if it was only Ballard? That's suicide. That's just straight lunacy. And for the record, it's not to kill him, it's just to put him aside. There's too many other things. One of them being he schooled Carlisle's brother. There's unrest.
I don't know who that is.
He'll look over to Slappy.
Carlisle's a big name in the Anarch movement. Am I correct there, Bob? I'm forgetting.
I think from your perspective, that's valid.
Yeah.
Well, fortunately for us, I think Prince Jackson's instructions referred to Permission Ballard specifically. Since you didn't tell him that you knew who the most powerful kindred in the city was, that's not him. He is instead focused on the other member of his clan that we know wanted him killed. So do with that what you will. My recommendation, well, never mind.
I'm a dead man walking. I'm stuck between two princes. I was trying to do you the favor of not telling you so that you wouldn't have to get into this issue. But yet, here we are.
Well, Sullivan, we got a list. That list starts with Sabat. Those who brought us, we are assigned to eliminate. You can correct me if I'm wrong, Ramsey. I think Mr. Ballard was a throw-in. I'm sure KJ has ways of dealing with that on his own, being who he is and where he is. But you know better than I do how these guys do their fuckery. So knowing that he expects us to deal with Ballard or would appreciate it if we did, what sort of message do you think it would send if we don't? Or what alternatives do you propose?
Mike, sorry, were you addressing Ramsey or Sully there? I was a little confused.
I'm addressing the group. I figure you both
Okay.
can hear me. At one point I addressed Ramsey, at another point I addressed Sully,
Right.
but this is like a thing that I'm saying. I'm like, hey, look, this is where we're at.
Sully will stand putting on what's left of his tattered jacket. If they sent you after just about, and I'm on limited time as it speaks, I'd at least would like the parting gift of being able to kill the man who took my son from me.
What was that psychologist's name? The doctor you told me about before you walked into that house.
I don't think he ever mentioned his name. Something. What was his name? Something like Michael Carter, if I'm not mistaken.
I'll see if I can dig him up. If he's got a presence on the internet, we can figure it out.
My son's not alone. He's roaming with a big group. He said other anarchs are with him.
He said anarchs. How does your son know what an anarch is?
I don't know. But apparently he was also told that Riot had incited this, and that is not true.
I swear to God, I'm going to be seeing Tom and Sir get in my shadow until I eat one of them.
Well, then let's go get them.
Ramsey's going to look at you for a second, Warren. Can we do that? Are they okay with that?
And you'll see Warren say, no, as he nods his head.
Okay. Are you going to Blue Velvet to eat, or do we have to drag something here?
Let's go over there. Let me get changed first.
All right.
Wait, okay. You're gonna get cleaned up, and you guys are head to the Blue Velvet.
Uh-huh.
All right. All of you going in, or just one of you, or what are we doing?
I'm not going in. I would ask Warren go with them and watch Sully in case the weird messenger ghouls show up.
I'm happy to go in with Sully and put on my best nice face if Sully can get me in to put on my best nice face.
Floppy would go in. He feels like he has no reason not to go in. So,
Hey, Slappy can go in. He looks fine. Warren has a hole in his shirt right where the armpit is. I mean,
shit! I forgot.
Do you want to swap shirts?
If we have one that doesn't look like I lost a gunfight.
Yeah, you want to swap shirts with Leatherface? Because he's been the creme de la creme of hygiene lately.
I don't have a stab hole in my shirts, though. In this shirt.
The Blue Velvet blood supply have curbside pickup?
First off,
that's Night
Blue
Bites.
Velvet is a very fine establishment, sir. And it even has someone who's going to be asking for the keys to your car to park it, unless one of you are just going to take over and not get out. And obviously, they'll let that be what it is.
Whoever of us looks the worst stays with the car. I'm assuming Ramsey looks worse than me, but I'm not sure at this point.
So here's the thing. Ramsey looks worse only in so guard he doesn't dress up. Right? He is what he is. So he doesn't fit this place. However, club member gets to go in and bring a guest, if that was the case. It was allowed to before. But remember, you stuffed Ramsey in a suit before. It's not his norm. So that's where we're at. You have a hole in your shirt, maybe it could be overlooked. It's not the end of the world. You were the one stabbed. You were a victim of circumstance.
Right.
Doesn't mean they won't stop you. It just means that it's worth a try. After all, you are going in with Sullivan.
Yep. I'll roll with Sully and we'll see how this goes.
So, as said, Ramsey sticks with the car. The others are heading inside. In terms of heading inside, it's not hard to get in because the door guy is going to take a look, right? First off, you may think your hunger of 4. I've been allowing leeway. In terms of conversation to go on normal, they're not sped up or whatever. That was vampires being vampires, or I like to call it a scene I'm not going to let the rules impact. When it comes to now, it's noticeable to certain people used to dealing with vampires. He's not going to get snacked down at the door. that's what it comes down to. Oh, of course, sir, your private booth upstairs, right away. He'll mumble something into his wrist and listen to his earpiece, and he'll direct you to a wait staff who will direct you, obviously, where you're going, but they're making sure that you're escorted, right? We don't make detours as it comes down to here. There are folks sitting around enjoying drinks, doing their thing sparsely through here, like any other type of drinking or eating establishment. They're in their own world. They only look up briefly because movement's going through, but they're not gauging or trying to engage in conversation. You do get up to the private area to sit down. The same creepy bartender's there. Right, just washing everything, mind his own business. It's just him. And he'll bring over a menu nonetheless, which is like clockwork as you guys sit down in your booth. I say your booth because, strangely, there's not, of the 5 booths that are up here available for privacy, none of them are occupied until you guys come up to sit down.
I'm gonna give Sully all the space he needs to make his selection. I'm not even gonna ask for any. I'm the help right now.
Bobby's just chilling with him. He's not trying to order or nothing.
Folks don't know a thing. News doesn't travel when you're threatening to kill princes, ironically. It's just sort of like, between you and the guy who almost killed you, kind of stays in-house. But long story short, you get blood. It's brought over to you, right? Which is pretty cool. You get that set amount. Excuse me, not blood, the menu. It's up to you what you want to order. Like this is, as you noticed, by the glass, right? That you have it, you're entitled to feed accordingly. It's enough to really just wet your whistle. People to feed are never really of consideration here. You don't show up to a place like this to feed. You show up here to sample blood. Right? It's a point of status. But you're apparently going to sit down and order a whole row of status, right?
Yeah, he'll order a bottle for him with the gents. And he'll even whisper under his breath, he's like, if you don't want to drink it, just hand it this way.
What he'll do is that you'll see the so obviously as a bartender, he's like a bottle, sir. And he'll look at you oddly. He goes, I can of course provide you a glass of your selection.
He's trying to make sure his frustration doesn't go through.
He'll say politely, perhaps, sir, I would like to be more ready for the evening to sample this type of fare. The blood we offer is obviously the rarest of. This isn't one, you don't simply guzzle this.
He'll smile politely and nod, and he'll push the menu back gently. If I may, the private reserves.
He'll squint at you further, and he'll, one moment, sir, and he'll leave. He'll go downstairs to maybe to get the private reserve key or whatever he's going to do, leaving you guys where you're at for the moment. Gonna wait for him to get back.
He'll wait.
I am.
Mike, I'm waiting. This is kind of interesting. All right. 2 things. Let me help out here. Bam. Pow. Dun, 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 dun. Sweet. It'll take about 4-5 moments, we're going to say, for one's counting, not saying you are. But you'll hear a kind of a silent humming of a woman who's coming up the steps. And she's wearing a somewhat business suit, really not too serious, but enough to be noticed. You saw her before. She wasn't really too happening to having a deep in-depth conversation. But she'll come up, no bartender on her wing at all, and she'll just look over. Oh, look at this. You're back. And she'll come approaching the table. Must be you who requested the private reserves?
He'll simply nod.
Oh, I don't know what you mean, private reserves. This is This is a club of those in the know, Mr. Sullivan. You know that.
I know.
Oh, well, then you know.
I do. There was a Bob, he'll try to, maybe I might not be able to, but I want to hint that I've been to the cellar before.
We'll give it, right? Some clever ploy, or you can even say it like, I've been to the cellar before, right? I know how this works. And she'll go, well, I have to inform you of some myth. I don't know where you think you wasn't here. I might have to point this out to you. Your standing in the club is only in so much as you pay your dues. Now, I control whether you get served or not, and you're in no condition to enjoy what's here. It'd be a waste, really. It's like it'd be like asking a shark, how did the tuna taste? You wouldn't know as you greedily gulped it down through your teeth and have it insult what you call the reserve. Our donors, and they are donors, are sought the world over, and our sommeliers are some of the best to provide you the aperitif that you enjoy. And you now demand callously that we feed you because you don't know how to feed yourself?
He'll smile politely and he'll stand up and he's like, that is my apologies for that. Enjoy your evening. And he'll walk down. He knows that he's definitely, like, he understands exactly where she's coming from. And that small amount of realization has forced him to reconsider how to grab food.
So as Sullivan stands up to leave, and obviously you guys heard that, are you two just letting it be what it is, Slappy and Warren?
I don't want to damage Sullivan standing here any more than he or we have already. Is there could I make a roll with my insight maybe to see what she would care about enough in this situation to make an exception for him? Because he seems strongly to believe that there is some source of blood that would be sufficient in this place. And I know he hears what she's saying, but I also know
how memory is. All three of you sat here and drank blood before. It is offered. The bartender served it. It is spiced or flavored blood. That's what is offered here.
Well, right. But it's what I think I'm gathering is that Sullivan would like a more voluminous amount.
So let me explain this plain, right? Let's forget the vampire half here.
Okay, all right.
You're not at a beer bar. That's not what this is. This type of place cost him $10,000 to be a member in for 1 year. That was the cost. People who pay that kind of money don't sit down and slurp beers with somebody at the old winery. That's not what happens. People with that type of loot, they expect pampering and exclusivity. You demand it with the pay. Therefore, as she's just stated, you will not be feeding from a pig trough. This isn't a gas station. You didn't bring your car up here to fill up. What this is an elitist drinking establishment, meaning only the elite members get to come here and enjoy the repast that they offer by the glass. It's to be savored, not gulped down. That's as plain as I can make it. And where the realization, and is there more blood here? Yes, that's what I'm saying. That's what she's saying. You will hold to the posh and circumstance of my establishment. You will respect it. You are not here because you couldn't feed anywhere else. You can go deal with your own problems elsewhere. You come here to enjoy yourself. That's the difference. That's why I'm asking also if Warren would be like, bitch, please, you don't get this blood or else. And you're going to start causing a problem. That's where we're at. Or some sort of circumstance. Would she make an exception? That's a great question. But to somebody you don't know, I can't give you an insight roll to that. You'd have to tell me what sort of argument you'd want to make or how you would convince her that she simply has to make an exception for him.
I could, Is there a way that I could insinuate to her that the masquerade is at risk without it sounding like a threat?
Is there?
Well, no, I guess not, because she's already obviously aware of his situation and doesn't give a fuck. No, I'll let it go. I'll let it ride.
What you're asking for is a social role of some type. I'm saying yes, you can do it, but I still need to know your intent.
Well, my intent is to convey to her that we would treat it as a favor, and whatever that's worth, if she would help us not make a scene somewhere else, is what I'm driving at here.
What I could tell you is that what you are asking is doable. It's just a roll, right? There's no harm, no foul in trying. But it's going to be a very difficult one. You're looking at your charisma. We're going to combine. I think this is persuasion by the definition, if nothing else. However, standing's a thing, and certainly she doesn't want to even have this talk. So it's going to be down 2 dice.
Is there any chance that I could sauce this roll with all? I don't remember how my all actually works.
You can. I'm going to remind you the risk of etiquette. If she's somebody older or somehow all fails, and she knows it, you're in a domain. I'm just going to help you out that far.
Right. Piss. Okay. No, I'll just roll the dice. You said charisma, persuasion down 2 for her standing.
You got it.
All right.
Don't forget your hunger, sir.
Got it. It's been a while. Sorry.
Hey, I'm not mad at you.
Right. Total failure.
You might say is as expected, where you're like, look, he clearly, this is going to be a problem out. Like it might be in an alley or it might be down the road. And you hear her say, but simply it won't be here.
Yeah.
And she'll put on a smile like she knows that this is like the more awkward this is, you're pretty certain she's enjoying this.
Yeah.
It's like gratification that her domain will be respected. Someone acknowledged it. You're doubly acknowledging it. And she's loving the fact that she has that little bit of power.
If Slappy doesn't have a move, I'll just put my arm around Sullivan and try to guide him back to the door.
You hear say you gentlemen have a good evening, and you're welcome back when circumstances are more pleasant. As you are departing amiably somehow.
Sloppy will come up next to Sullivan, and he'll be like, "So, you never told us what you ate. We could still help you, just because this situation didn't go the way you planned."
He'll lean into Slappy and he'll whisper, "I need people who are willing to do anything to succeed."
That's very broad.
The taste is very unique.
Have you ever tried like an AA meeting? They're willing to do anything to succeed at overcoming their addiction. Does that count? I don't know. I don't know how you guys work.
He'll raise his head at that. What about crackheads?
and with that, we're going to call it. And I said, what a great note. As we're trying to, not AA meetings, crackheads. People willing to do anything to succeed, crackheads.
I'll suck your dick, man.
There's some interesting ways to interpret that. I look forward to that feeding scene to see how that actually is going to turn out. off the bat, I'm gonna tell Ramsey's getting 5 bonus
Oh,
for
thank you.
successfully achieving a 5. Well, as a goal. It was a goal. It took a very long time to get there. You definitely didn't land there. I'd say easily, right? And you did get it. If you didn't say, and in fact, if you didn't say what you said, you were going to die tonight. We're going to fold up this crusade, get done real quick, right? As this is about to just shove people in an ashtray at the end of it. But you did choose to spill the beans in a manner that did do well there, and that's also going into that total amount. Everybody else is going to get getting 3, right? I think 1 for playing your character, another one, of course, showing up and playing your character are always to be rewarded, but I think role playing the characters and goal oriented. This happened the entire time. Folks were going for what they had to do and got sidetracked, but it was your actions that sidetracked you. I can't say anything to that.
Yeah.
So that's definitely there. But that does bring your total to 8, Brentron. That's not 5 only. That's the 3 you are included in that group. So
okay.
anybody else feel that they hit a goal or desire, excuse me, is another word for it.
Of my own? No, I'm not. No, we're still cruising.
I can't say I did.
Nope.
Not in a positive fashion. Definitely not.
I was looking at yours too, going, I wish that was different, right?
Right.
That's a tough call. Tough call.
I'm just saying, when you walk in and the one guy who's been really subtle the whole time and vague is beat the shit out of, you're like gonna sing like a canary.
It's a setup that I couldn't say went. I'm impressed. But we're not gonna do extra noms because a lot of XP was given out.
Right.
Honorable mentions and whatnot. It's what I typically do. I'm gonna cap it when it's a little. I mean, you all did good. If you feel you want to reward people now, please say it. No, camera time is your time to do that. Feel free.
I will definitely start off by saying our Sabat members definitely shined this session. Even though my character's not happy with it, I, as the player, thought that it was really well done for Brennan to portray Ramsey in the fashion that he did, as well as Mike being Warren. So I was very impressed with it. I was like, this is awesome.
I thought Mike's role playing today was probably the best he's done this entire chronicle.
He shined.
Yeah, and I
Thank
mean,
you.
I'm getting mad harmonious vibes from Brentron. So, well,
I love
Brennan,
it.
like it's like from the start of the game to like where we've progressed now, like I just night and day, right? It's crazy.
Find his art.
It's true. Well done, gentlemen. Anyone else? Let me just steal that show.
I'm gonna keep it 100. I try to make noms. I've just enjoyed today, so I don't feel like I can pull somebody out because I'd have to pull everybody out, and then that just means we're circle jerking, right?
Nope.
Big game, fellas.
I get you. You had a great game today. I respect that decision too. That said, what I'm going to point out, please do not forget the situation you're in, and I want to tally this up. You obviously know there are factions you meant both sides of the fence. There is that Loden faction, as Sullivan's well aware of, where, what is it, the Ventru clan minus Kevin Jackson, one Kevin Jackson dealt with, right? At least brought low so they could fix things, as they said. You just had your group side with Kevin Jackson to go after Balthazar, and apparently you know that means Loden, right? Because we're defying an edict directly. Gentlemen, not an ultimatum. I'm excited to see where you choose to go with this. I'm not bullshitting. You were almost dead tonight. That was my goal.
Ready.
This scene, the group dies. It's going to be meaningful, but they're going to die. There's no way they're not at this point because Warren just threw everybody under the bus. That's that. You can't pull your, and you did. You brought your game, and there was a way, as players often do. And I was relieved because I thought it was very entertaining. Right, I wasn't expecting that. However, with that Hail Mary done, that doesn't mean you're out of the hot seat. It just means you're out of the hot seat tonight.
Right.
eventually you have to choose, and this is exactly what I mean by players dictate the fate of their own game. Is either Ventrue Clan or KJ, and you're there. And where you accepted the Hound's title, whatever, and all that, and you're hunting Sabat, do you, is your home to roost enemies are apparently still around and you got carte blanche now to go after them? That's great. Do you remember the wild card? Sullivan's up, Sved. How does he feel about that? You hurt him. And so that's what we're going to be looking into going forward. I'm excited about that. So tune in next time to see how that goes. I can't wait to see how that pans out, guys. Downtime's coming, no doubt.
Yep.
Do you have downtimes? Absolutely. If you're not letting Sullivan out of your sight, I'd ask why. Because you got to hunt stuff yourself, so it's going to be a little hard to do unless you keep him with you at all times. We'll let him know that. You guys arrange how it is offline. Let me know what you choose to do. And we'll update that going forward for everyone to know what's going on in synopsis if we got to.
Mm-hmm.
But thanks, everybody. That's all we got for this time around, and tune in next time.
See ya. Thank you for listening to our 25 Years of Vampire the Masquerade podcast. If you like what you heard and want to support us, please share it with others or leave a review. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.